Free agency is here in the NHL. We got a few moves from the Sabres that are official. Goaltender Devin Levi heads to Edmonton along with a 7th-round pick in 2028 in exchange for a 2028 3rd-round pick. And then defenseman Olin Zellweger is signing a 3-year deal with an average annual value of $3.1 million. Just one free agent signing so far, and it is not official yet, but it does appear that Dennis Gilbert is signing with Buffalo to a 1-year, $850,000 deal. Now to the rest of the league. Some notable moves already made. Winnipeg is adding a goalie. Stuart Skinner, 2 years, $3.75 million per year. Toronto also getting in on the goalie fund. Sergei Bobrovsky, 3 years, $7 million per year. And then defenseman Jacob Trouba goes to San Jose, 4 years, $8.25 million per year. And then there were some extensions earlier today. The Devils lock in Nico Hischier to a 5-year, $11.7 million per year deal. And Montreal gets Ivan Demidov, 8 years, $9.1 million per year. Now to the World Cup. England avoids disaster thanks to 2 goals from Harry Kane. They take down the Congo 2-1. In about an hour, we're going to have Senegal versus Belgium. And then at 8 o'clock, the U.S., they get their knockout campaign underway as they take on Bosnia and Herzegovina. While in baseball, Bison's at St. Paul. First pitch for that one just after 8 o'clock, and that one can be heard on our sister station, the Bet 1520. While in the majors, the Yankees do currently trail Detroit 1-0 in the 6th, while the Jays, they have the Mets in town with first pitch in the next few minutes. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Update. Paddock Chevrolet with you for the extra mile since 1935. I'm Zach Jones for Western New York's Voice of the Fan, WGR.
Schopp and the Bulldog.
Uh-oh. Guess what day it is? Guess what day it is? Huh? Anybody?
Monday, Tuesday, hump day is halfway. It's Mike Schopp.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
And the Bulldog.
Hey, guess what day it is? Oh, come on. I know you can hear me.
It's Mike Schopp and the Bulldog.
Guess what today is?
It's hump day.
Woo-hoo!
On WGR.
Hump day!
Sports Radio 550.
Hi there, July 1st. Happy birthday, Bulldog. It always seems to be on this day, July 1st. Hockey happens in some places, and your birthday, and Bobby Bonilla.
And happy birthday, Canada.
And Canada.
Yep.
Just lines up. Amazing. Isn't the equinox really something when it does that? It's just nature is incredible.
Yep. Thank you.
You are the one of the two of us who I think has been more restrained on Sabres stuff. Let's see what they do first. That's completely reasonable. I should be more like that. But I've been more along the lines of giddy and excited and hopeful.
Yeah, no, I'm very much in. Okay, Yarmo, you want to have the memes with the sunglasses and all. I don't know if he really gives a crap about that, but whatever. The fans want to have their fun with like the wheeler dealer, big baller, Kekalainen or whatever. You know, today's a day is maybe even the day.
Yeah.
To make your team better, which has not happened at all yet.
No.
Through the run up to the draft itself, they might be more well positioned for 27, 28, and 29 than they were because of the 4th overall pick on Friday, and that's really nice for 27, 28, 29, me and us being not just you and I, but the collective here. Sabres fans, something's got to happen. I think. Otherwise, you are, running the risk of just running back the same team. So there's only 3 hours in here.
It was a good team.
It was a good team, but it lost 2 of its most important cogs, I believe, that really made it run. Yeah. I was certainly not prepared ever in any universe, in any way, shape, or form to pay Bowen Byram $12.5 million a year, which is what he's getting from Chicago. So good luck. God bless. Good luck.
How about that?
Go for it. I hope that works out for you.
I think there are 2 players today that deserve but perspective and sort of a commentary about how things have gone for them. And one is Byram, who is now, is he not the highest paid average annual value defenseman in the National Hockey League?
He will be. The problem is he still has a year on the contract he signed last year here.
Okay, well, poor guy.
So his 12.5 will probably be passed by the time he actually is earning it. But for right now, into the future, he has the highest annual average value on a defenseman contract.
So he won.
Yeah, he got everything he wanted.
Last year, I couldn't wait to get him out of here. And it was less insane by a lot, I would say, for me to think he would have been good for the Sabres than this happening.
Right.
I mean,
Yes.
I guess they are correlated, of course. He needed to have
He had a great
good
year. He had
and be on a good team
Yep.
to showcase, his strengths. And now you've got, that's insane. The other guy is Levi. Think of, it wasn't last summer, but maybe
It's a long-
2 or 3 summers ago.
Right. It's a long time ago now.
Where it felt like the Sabres were just sort of pinning their hopes on Devin Levi. And he barely ever even got up here
Yeah.
in that period of time. And
So he goes to Edmonton, and they'll, they've been searching for a better idea for 3, 4, 5 years there. Really almost the entirety of McDavid's career there. I feel like they have been looking for a better idea in goal. So I'm going to guess, despite the modest, it's not like any kind of a blockbuster trade. He's a minor league goalie, and an undersized minor league goalie at that, if that matters. Some teams have more of a preference towards bigger framed guys, whatever. I'm positive he'll get a look there. Like he's going to get a shot to win that job because I don't think they have not had a better idea. So, good for him. But yeah, his name, that whole experience, and I think it was an experience. Like he was sort of buzzy when he got traded here. Like even though he had been a 7th round pick the year before, there was excitement about him in the NHL, not just in Buffalo where they acquired him, but it was like, oh, look out for this. He's been great everywhere he goes. 940 save percentage in college. And yeah, they started it way too soon, and it never stabilized. He had a nice little start at that first year when he got here. He was pretty good. The next fall, the wheels came off really fast, and it never got back to any kind of exciting status.
well, let's pin this down. The second year is the year where Luukkonen kind of took off. That's the second half of that year where he was excellent. The Sabres just missed. No, that's not the second year. That's the year before. But am I wrong already? Like there was the potential that Levi would be given another longer term stint, but Luukkonen kind of blocked him.
And then he got a contract.
And then he got a contract from that. And then, yeah, that's right. And then the next year, he was just kind of stuck down there. Right. And the results when he did come up were not good. He played a little bit. He played 9 games in 24-25 for the Sabres, goals against over 4, and never seen again. Well, it's funny, not funny, but all the Hellebuck stuff, which we'll get to, because he's still a Jet at this point, is the conversation revolves around the trustworthiness of goalies and how predictable they are. And this is always the problem. Even for a guy of the stature of Connor Hellebuck, this is the problem, is what can you really count on? What's reliable? And Levi was quintessentially this. He was a low draft pick, 7th round, wasn't he? Like a low draft pick that killed it in college, was the best goalie in college hockey for 2 years running. And he became our great hope that, well, at least they've got that figured out. And you never did.
No.
You never had that figured out because it's goalies and it's not the best forward or defenseman in college hockey. It's just a very different calculus, I think. So that never worked out.
Yeah, the whole thing was just presumptuous. is really what it was.
Every side of it, the Sabres side of it and the outside side of it.
Yeah, I'm not pointing fingers by saying that. The Sabres, I think they pinned too much on him too early. But I'd be lying if I didn't tell you I was excited about him, just like everyone else. I mean, I thought there was a lot of potential there, and there still might be. Who knows? New situation, whatever. It does strike me today, again, we're 3 hours into free agency, and there has not been, now everyone's different. You may have had your eyes out there on big name players or other like smaller role type players that have signed elsewhere. I would tell you that I'm sure there's degrees of this for me, but there's nothing that's happened yet today that I'm envious of.
Yeah.
Right. That I feel like, I wanted that. Right. Bobrovsky to Toronto. It's a reasonable contract, but I was scared of him as an idea, even for just 3 years and $21 million because of his age and what he looked like this past year and where he's at in his career. I just was really not. I felt like that could be like victory lap. Thanks for the $7 million a year type territory. So we'll see what he does in Toronto, but that was not something I wanted to do.
It is interesting, by the way, that Toronto is playing for the present.
Yeah.
With Radish and Bobrovsky, like they're trying to get good. And I don't know. It's Toronto.
Yep.
This is sort of like old Toronto.
Well,
before Matthews, where they would always kind of be going for the quick fix.
There's been a lot of talk about them and Werenski, although the Werenski stuff I feel like has kind of calmed down. The last thing I saw on that doesn't mean it's the last thing that's been out there on that, but a little bit before we started was that he told Columbus, like, we don't have to do, I'm okay. He's got 2 years left. If, he's okay staying there, basically, was what I read. Which, I don't know if that's trying to spin, trade partners one way or another or what, but that maybe that's calmed down. But Toronto's been right in the center of that. And, like, if they were to pull that off, assuming they have to trade Matthew Nyes is probably the centerpiece of that trade, that's a remade defensive core with a two-time cup-winning goalie all of a sudden. It's a little – they become – the present day becomes a lot more palatable with Werenski back there and Radish, for that matter. So we'll see what evolves there. But anything else, like Jacob Trouba signed a contract I cannot believe with San Jose. Like, he's looked finished to me for 3 years, and he got like $8 million a year. I was like, no thanks. There's been nothing really today. Mason Marchment, I think, signed a pretty significant deal. No foot speed, not a fit. Like, to me, was not a Tuck replacement. There's nothing. So as much as I feel sort of desolate in that the Sabres have not done anything that I think improves their team for the next season, there also isn't anything today that's happened. Really, we've got still the trades that haven't taken place, and that's Nyes or that's Larkin or Hellebuck is seemingly the most talked about anyway idea out there. Jason Robertson, we had some fun with that on Thursday last week.
Dallas traded someone else.
Right.
Bork.
Yep. And Toronto traded his brother.
What a day in the family.
Yeah. So
where do you meet?
All I'm saying is the stuff that I anyway, speaking only for myself, have been most interested in, if it ever was available and still is available, it's still out there. Like if Toronto still wants to trade Matthew Nyes, I can still be on the other end of that phone call. Same goes for Jason Robertson. Same goes for Connor Hellebuck and Dylan Larkin. Like the ideas that made the most sense to me for the Sabres are still out there. What they don't have is the arsenal of this year's draft picks to deal with anymore. But that doesn't have to be, the end of it.
Well, it is sort of a familiar July 1st so far.
Yeah.
In that it's other teams having fun. But I don't disagree that it's just kind of going by me. We weren't thinking that any of these free agents were going to be that appealing to the Sabres.
The list never looked good.
No, there's no one that we ever pined for, that we talked about at all, that they should want. I mean, maybe in passing it happened once or twice, but really there was no big idea. So, okay, but they don't want, what explains this? They don't want to get through the action section of the summer without a couple of real acquisitions, or at least one. I mean, the trade with Anaheim is fine. They gave up a guy that was fringe NHL and a second-round pick. I mean, it wasn't such a cost that you can think just by the trade itself that there's like necessarily big upside there. There might be some. I don't mind it. But what explains how there hasn't been something else? I've wanted, sort of as a, if not entirely, as a defender of Kekalainen's here through this. Well, he didn't think he was going to have to give up the 4th overall pick or even the 20th overall pick to get whoever it is that he wants the most from that list. And I'll put it this way, the excuse I'll make for it so far is that no one else has traded for any of those guys either. So he's still, if it's right that he's in the room on these players, he would probably still be in the room on these players.
Yep.
Yesterday or Monday, we had a caller who was like hitting hard at him because he hadn't done it yet. And like, well, is now the time to do that? I mean, can we just get past July 1st noon and get into it? But you're going to want to see one addition, if not more, that we can really sort of get excited about, even if that is, or quintessentially if that is Hellebuck, because that would be a big change.
And how the wind is blowing on that, let's take a minute and kind of lay that out. If just in case, you're hopping in your car, you haven't been just sitting on Twitter all afternoon or morning. The Winnipeg Jets have acquired Stuart Skinner. So they have, and that's like a 3.5 to 4.5 million. I don't remember the money now, but they've got Stuart Skinner there now. Late of Pittsburgh, most recently also Edmonton. That was one of the spaces on the board. Edmonton stopped. Oh, let's trade Skinner for Tristan Jarry and see if that works. It didn't. So anyway, Skinner now goes to Winnipeg, and on one hand, you can look at that and go, well, that's a starting caliber goalie, I guess.
Yeah.
And so is that a sign, right? Is Hellebuck about to be moved? Well, I think most of us have always thought, not that you can't build a trade around other things, but that Luukkonen would be a part of a Hellebuck trade. And to me, Skinner, I'm higher on UPL than I am Skinner, but they might be the same sort of rearranging of deck chairs.
Why would you need both?
Right. If you unless you want to make them a tandem or something. I don't know. But I feel like that closes the door on Luukkonen being a part of a Hellebuck trade. So it doesn't necessarily have to close that door for Buffalo, but I think it causes a pivot of some kind. Because, again, I think you'd want to offload a $4.5 million goalie in a trade where you're acquiring an $8.5 million goalie. I guess there's other ways you could do that too, but then you got to add more stuff to the package to get Winnipeg across the finish line to send you Hellebuck. So I don't know. I did not take it as a positive sign that they got Skinner. Mm-hmm. I thought more than making Hellebuck expendable, it makes Luukkonen useless to them, and that could be a real problem in building a trade.
What's left for Winnipeg then? Jersey? If not Buffalo?
Carolina's been mentioned as being in there. And,
what are the taxes?
And all these guys, each team has had a turn at Buffalo, New Jersey, Carolina, like, oh, they're in on this. Oh, it seems like it's cooled off. Like, there's just a roller coaster ride with that, depending on the timing with which you see the various insider tweets, So I think there's still a market, and I would assume Winnipeg is still exploring that. And it's not just like Buffalo's the only team in the room. So you've got to consider that too.
Well, I'll say again from yesterday, not to sort of be a dark cloud about this kind of thing, but it is and was nice and exciting to think that the days of the Sabres being basically off the grid with free agency and trades, and stars around the NHL were over because of the year that they had. And I just will say again, I think that takes longer than 1 year to manifest, where you become a team that players want to be a part of. And the palm trees, but the taxes stuff and the ancillary stuff is never going to be different. I mean, the market is not going to grow. The Weather is not going to change. Like, you're never going to have sort of the natural advantage, if you will, that other teams will have. The NHL has changed, and you can now, I mean, not even right now, but you can claim Florida and Tampa Bay and other Vegas are teams where you can win, not just be warm, but those teams have won all the cups almost in the last, 7 years or so. Carolina. I mean, it has changed to that extent. That was always, a longer time ago, that was always our sort of defense in this stuff was, well, sure, it's nice there. It's pretty nice here. It's unmanageably hot today here, by the way, if you're not in the area. So not the perfect day for this, but it's fine. But Florida is Florida. And you can want to go there, but you used to be kind of a chump, I think, if you wanted to go to play for the Florida Panthers or whoever else. And that is obviously not the case anymore.
Yeah, like back when, I mentioned this, like I'm worried about Bobrovsky having like a retirement tour, signing this free agent contract. When a couple of Leafs went down there at the same time, Nieuwendyk and Roberts, maybe.
Yeah.
It's like,
check, please.
They're just going to play golf all day. Like, what is even at the stage they were at their careers?
Right.
So, yeah. Another thing that happens today, by the way, is there are guys, like, you talk about no trades and being able to get guys to waive to come. Something that happens today when the new league year begins, which is what this is guys that maybe didn't have trade protection previously now have some. Josh Norris has, effective today, a 10-team no-trade list. Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, effective today, a 5-team no-trade list. So I don't know how cumbersome that has to be, but if you could get a deal with Winnipeg where they wanted either of those guys, they both have to agree to that now. And that was not true yesterday. So
Winnipeg would seem maybe a natural candidate to be on someone's no list.
If you've only got 5, unless you just have always loved it there or something,
you're from there.
That could complicate. And that's only 2 guys that I just thought of because they've been mentioned in, not as much Norris, but UPL obviously. So like there's that piece too that could complicate things. So not ideal that they have not moved yet. I think it could get harder.
Yeah, I'm not sure what I want right now that, well, I guess the answer is still Larkin or Jason Robertson. It's still like a whale. And again, they haven't been traded anywhere else. So I think the Sabres, they're never going to be Florida, but I think we can talk about them on the level that they might be in play for somebody that good. I don't think that's gone away. I think it became realistic and reasonable, and I think it might still be reasonable to talk about because they haven't been traded anywhere else. But there's nothing yet. Like, there's no addition yet that we can really hone in on. Levi gone to Edmonton. That's more of a perspective. He was not in the plans anymore, and that's not surprising. It shouldn't be surprising to anyone. But that's just one where you think about maybe what could have been and what the hype was all about and just what could have ended up, parallel universe kind of situation with him that just never materialized. And that's it so far. So the day is young. Paul Hamilton's going to join us next. I think Paul was worried that we would book him for a time when maybe there was going to be a move and then he would have to do interviews, and let's get Paul in. Let's file Paul.
Right.
And then if we need him again, we'll bug him again.
I speaking solely from my half of the show, I want to talk to Paul now and have it be ruined by what happens in the ensuing couple of hours. So that's what I'm hoping for.
There is a time limit on that.
Right, there is.
I would say it's your birthday. But anyway, Paul coming up. What has happened? What hasn't happened so far around the NHL and the Sabres today? We'll look for your calls later at 803-0550. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here. Thanks for listening. It is July 1st. This is WGR.
For more comfort.
Now's the perfect time to make yourself comfortable with a new electric heating and cooling system from Belknap.
In Western New York, summer and winter bring extreme temperature conditions. Make yourself comfortable with Mitsubishi electric heat pumps, designed to keep your home cool in the summer and warm in the winter, no matter how hot or cold it gets outside. Call Belknap today to learn more.
I'm Gary Garfalo, president of Belknap. We work on your schedule. We don't charge more for weekends and evenings. That's why we say,
Give Belknap a ring.
July 1st, always a big day around the NHL. Not always the biggest Sabres news day. We're still waiting on some stuff. Paul can help us here determine whether it's worth waiting on from what he knows. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog, thanks for listening. Paul's show, 1 to 10. 1 is, let's see. 1, I think you're all the way back in your chair. Your feet are on your desk. You're smoking a cigar with that version of anticipation for what might be about to happen with the Sabres. 10 is you're sitting like I am. And this is, I'm not trying to put on a bit here. This is just how I always sit. I'm way up in my chair. I'm like, any second, here it comes. Where are you 1 to 10 on what you think we might be getting today?
Well, the ships are pretty neat outside the window here over at Canal Side. I've enjoyed looking at the great outdoors and looking at the ships and walking around, and not much going on around here.
Sounds like a 1.
Paul is, despite the lack of a cigar being described here in the picture, Paul sounds like
he's describing my 1, but adding boats.
Right. Right.
You're looking out at boats.
I like boats.
Paul's painting a watercolor of the waterfront for us.
I'm thinking of walking down, maybe taking a ride on a boat. By the time I get back, we'll probably still be doing the same thing we're doing now. So,
well, so how
you're down there?
Yeah, I mean, how I don't know, are you worried for them? I mean, that's the wrong way to put it, because I don't think you get worried so much.
Well, how about this? Is what you're describing here, Paul, sort of a lack of anticipation for what might be coming today? Is that a bad thing? Like we've had a couple departures here that we've talked a lot about in the last few days.
yeah, this is exactly how I thought today would go. I mean, there's nothing in free agency that is going to do what needs to be done here. I mean, if I'm going to overpay for anything out there, it would be Dylan Larkin. That would be the thing I would overpay for, because they needed him desperately to help get the thing back going again in the right direction. I mean, if I had to give up Mertka and Ostlund or whatever, that's the guy I'd be doing it for. Nobody else out there. And I don't even know if he is willing to come to the Buffalo Sabres, but certainly I wouldn't be overpaying for any of these free agents. I mean, there's just nothing there that even remotely interests me. I was over, the last couple of days with the prospects camp, and a lot of people have been throwing names at me as they're walking by, and I shrug my shoulder at every single one of them. It's like, whatever. If they want to sign Pat Kane for $3 million, fine. I don't care one way or the other. I don't think it really moves the meter. It might move the power play a little bit. Whatever. I mean, it's not really what they need. If they find it as a complementary piece to maybe try to help your power play, which in his case last year were assists, not goals. He only had 2 power play goals.
Right.
Great. I mean, I guess I wouldn't put it down if they did it, unless they paid $6 million for it. But I think Anders Lee is a nice player, but right now the going rate for Anders Lee is $6.7 million. No, I'm not paying $6.7 million for Anders Lee. I just looked at the free agent list, and this, I'm getting exactly what I anticipated.
Yeah. Lee is already the age we are worried about Tuck falling off a cliff. Right? Like, so that would not make a lot of sense, I think, as an organizational plan. Yeah, Paul, I said already to open up our show today that so far as free agency goes, there's no thing that's happened that I'm like, oh, I wanted to be in on that. And that is in no way surprising, right? Even Bobrovsky to Toronto, which, that could work, but I was very leery of that as an idea, and I'm somewhat relieved. And again, we'll see. Save this for the middle of the season if he's having a Vezina-type year and Toronto is rebounded to the top of the Atlantic again. I didn't think that there was a buyer beware sign in his yard to me that I was going to respect. So, I'm watching.
And I wouldn't want to put $7 million on my salary cap just to give it a try.
Right.
I agree too.
And like Jacob Trouba signed for 8.25, and so I think he's been washed for 3 years. I cannot believe that's happening. So all the usual stuff that can be said. about this day and the sinkholes you can find yourself in. I'm glad I've avoided all that so far, but again, the trade market is still where my attention is, and I don't know if that all gets put aside because today is so fast and furious with free agency that, the Winnipeg Jets are still interested in moving Connor Hellebuck. Not to say their GM can't do 2 or 3 things at one time, but I would understand if a team's focus, especially they've been talking numerous times to the same people about the same players. You're like, you know what? Let's put that on the shelf and revisit it on Sunday or Monday or Friday or whatever. Just not today because I'm dealing with this other stuff.
Yeah, and even Skinner going to Winnipeg, they needed another goalie. All they had was Hellebuck, so even Dreger came out and said that really doesn't mean anything in the Hellebuck market. It just means they needed another goalie. The question is, will he be their number 1 goalie or their backup goalie?
Right.
It depends, what happens, but it really didn't have anything to do. It did not mean that there was anything imminent coming with Hellebuck.
Well, in fact, Paul, I would add to that my read on that was they probably don't have any need for Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen in a Hellebuck trade because he and Skinner, to me, are at least somewhat comparable. I mean, I hope, Luukkonen can be better than Skinner has been, but he's taken.
But wouldn't you want two pretty good goalies?
Yeah, maybe you could pair them together and have a tandem and have each guy play 40 games. That maybe that's
works the only out you have in this scenario.
But what else has happened today,
that.
Paul? I just mentioned just before we got to you, July 1, no move clauses kick in for guys. And 2 guys on the Sabres that have been prominently mentioned in trade rumors, Luukkonen is one. He now has a 5-team no trade. So I don't know how cumbersome that has to be, but, there's a scenario out there where you get something worked out with a team to move him because you're going to make some other big deal, and he says no. Josh Norris's 10-team no trade went live at noon today as well, and that's just 2 examples. So that gets a little harder. It's not, you can't just do whatever you want with either of those guys anymore. They have to approve depending on where they're going.
No, absolutely, yeah. So that's in play now, and I've never gotten any indication that they're looking to move Norris, or it's and Luukkonen. Well, if he has one of those teams happens to be the Winnipeg Jets, I guess it could be a problem. But it doesn't necessarily have to be. As I said, it's just a few teams that we're talking about.
Paul, where are you on Norris? If there were to be some action involving him, are you? I'll just let you say it. I mean, how confident are you that he becomes an important, as much money as he makes, an important piece of the Sabres' future?
I liked him a lot for a bit when he was healthy, and then he got hurt, and then he got healthy again. But I didn't much care for him. I didn't think he was playing all that well, especially in the offensive end. Defensive end, he's always pretty solid, but in the offensive end, I didn't think he was doing all that well. So, it's been a kind of an up and down type of a thing. I still think he's a good hockey player. I think it would help him in his confidence if somehow or another he ever could find his way to an 82-game season. And that's what Tuck finally did. Tuck was getting hurt for a while during his career. Then the last couple of years, he's been able to play most of the games. And he's really improved his play as he went along. And I think that could go a long way for Norris, where he doesn't get interrupted with injuries during his season, where he could just go be himself.
Yeah, that is, without any hesitation, the only reason that I would need to move the player. Because when he's healthy, I have no problem with his cap number. I think he's a fantastic 200-foot player that every bit could be a number 1 center for this team. But banking on that with his injury history for a cup-contending team, which is what we're supposed to be talking about here, right, that's very scary to me. I just am really – and I know you can't – you'd lose your mind worrying about anyone getting hurt, but this is a guy that's been hurt every year of his NHL career. So I would consider it a blessing if they could find their way to replacing him, but holy cow, good luck. I think it's just very hard with his background, his injury history, to get someone to take him as anything more than just I got to take some salary type of thing. I mean, that's too harsh. But I think he's hard to trade because of the contract and his injury history.
Especially since it's now happened with two teams.
Right.
Where he keeps getting injured. He kept getting injured in Ottawa. Now he, in the short time he's in Buffalo, he's kept getting injured. So, it's like, well, the scenario hasn't changed even though they've changed the teams. So I think, again, I'll just repeat myself. I just think it would be really important for him to put together an 82-game season because I think then everybody would get to see what the Sabres were banking on when they traded for him.
Paul, what is the scene down there other than boats? So are you around media? Like, are people there just in case or what?
Yeah, we're actually up in the, what do you call this place? As you come into the escalators, the bar up here. They set us up because the TVs are on the screen, so we were watching TSN, and because we had practiced earlier over at Harbor Center. And as I said, the youngsters are still around. I see more of them coming out of the odd room or whatever they call that room over there. So they've been meeting and doing all their thing. So we had that. Then we came over here, and the TV people just left. I don't know if they have things to do or if they just decided they don't care if Jarmo talks. Or I think we're going to hear from Jarmo. I can't tell you when. All I can tell you is be ready. Who knows what kind of advance notice we're going to get. So there's still 3 writers and me sitting here, so there's still 4 of us. So, yeah, but the TV people, as I was talking to you, all just took off.
You guys get first dibs then. They had to go do TV news. They had to go, and they'll come back.
Maybe they did. They didn't look like they were in any particular hurry, but
interesting.
Yeah, they were here and off they went.
Can we talk about Devin Levi before we depart here, Paul? That's not something where we were talking about him getting up here. Really, it's been a long time since we had that.
Just interrupt quickly?
Yep.
Here, just in the last couple of minutes here, the Sabres PR has sent out an announcement that they have signed Connor Sheary.
Oh.
I did not. That's news to me. I'm sorry if everyone knew that already.
I just turned to my computer. No, I just turned to my computer as you said it. It's on the TSN ticket.
Yeah, Sheary, and then 3 other. Dennis Gilbert on a one-way contract, and then Trevor Kuntar, two years. That'll be 2 ways. So primarily Rochester for Trevor, and Jason Poland, who I'm not familiar with, also 2-way contract. So Gilbert's on a one-way deal. He's, to me, very much depth that should, if he clears waivers, end up in Rochester. But Sheary maybe is an NHL. That's an NHL player, I think, probably.
Probably.
I think he did spend some time in the minors recently. I have to look it up while we're talking here, but it's again. I think because I've been wondering how come I haven't seen Amherst signings. Because that's part of what we always see on July 1st. They have to get guys they can put down there with their youngsters. And so, I kind of thought, well, where have those been? Usually by now we start seeing those. He spent 59 games with the Syracuse Crunch in 2024-25. And then last year with the Rangers, he spent the whole season up with the Rangers. But the year before, he only got 5 games with the Lightning and 59 with the Crunch. Got 7 goals and 18 assists. I don't know. I wasn't impressed the first time he was here, and I'm kind of sitting here going, why?
Played 133 games for the Sabres back in 1920 in those memorable seasons. So
1920.
Wait, 18, 19, and 19 and 20 are the
not the year 1920.
I thought you said. Was Babe Ruth there?
We're back here in 1920.
I know.
All right. Anyway,
so that's cleared up.
So we've got that. So Sheary, I mean, I don't know. That doesn't even register.
Yeah, he's 34 years old. I'm like, I guess I would think
maybe it's all Rochester, Paul. Yeah, right.
Yeah, I can't see. They've already got a bunch. They've got guys. I mean, here, this is either just guys.
Yeah.
And they got guys. Now they got to get some guys for Rochester and stuff, but they don't need just guys for this team. They have an overabundance of just guys.
Right.
Now they have to get talent.
All right. I thought that should take precedence over whatever we were going to reminisce about Devin Levi, like you were saying.
Paul, I mean, just how that all went with Levi. Were the Sabres at fault for his path?
Yes, they messed it up from the start, and I think as you look at it, it was, no goaltender ever went straight from college hockey to the NHL, but Kevin Adams thought his goaltender was going to. And I think Levi held him over a barrel and made it play him right away. And those 7 games were the best games he played in the NHL, at the end of the season when he came from Northeastern. And then he was handed the job the next year, wasn't even remotely up for it, and then finally got sent down to Rochester where he belonged. And then Luukkonen, if you remember, had a very good season and was the number 1 goalie. I remember Lindy Ruff showed up and said, we asked, well, who's your number 1 goal? He goes, I think the initials are UPL.
Yeah.
And again, Adams thought, well, even though Luukkonen earned it, we're going to have Levi alternate games with him. Well, that was even a bigger disaster, and that was the end of Devin Levi in Buffalo in the NHL. And then, of course, when they claimed Ellis off waivers, that's all Levi needed to see, and he knew he was no longer a presence in the Sabres organization, and let's move on.
I think he'll get a look at the starting job in Edmonton, Paul. They're constantly searching. So I'm not saying they won't bring in someone with a bigger contract and more of a reputation, but I'll bet that there are fans out there and even people in the organization hoping that this is the opportunity this kid's been waiting for, because they've been searching for years.
And I can tell you, I've had numerous scouts tell me that he will never be an NHL goaltender, that they just do not like the way he plays goal. It's too high wire type goaltending. Now that doesn't mean that's true. That's definitely going to happen. He could definitely show up in Edmonton, get an opportunity, and seize it, and become an NHL goalie. So just because that's what I've been told doesn't mean that's what's going to happen. It's up to him. If he gets the opportunity, he has to seize it.
Only time for a yes or no answer. Are any of these scouts Milan Lucic?
No.
Okay. Hate to do that to you, Paul. I know you didn't want to name names, but we can cross him off the list for that one. All right. Well, we'll keep you on. Has the show ever sounded older? Speed dial.
Yes.
Oh, how about
we
that?
may be I am thinking we will be speed dialing you. I just don't know when.
Good.
All
Thanks,
right.
Paul.
Talk to you.
There's Paul live at Harbor Center downtown, monitoring whatever the Sabres are doing today. Whatever this is, he's monitoring. Paul's appearance with us, nonetheless, brought to you by Relax Honda. Relax, we got this.
Thanks for listening. Stay with us to see what might come throughout the day. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog, WGR. Get ready for summer celebrations with Outlet. Bottom of the ninth at Yankee Stadium. Detroit looking for a sweep. Yankees have lost, 6 in a row? 2-0 Tigers into the ninth. A home run by Ahmad Rosario, and then a Chisholm reached on a hit or an error. I don't know. It was close. And then stole second and third.
So 1 out.
1 out.
And the tying run is a sac fly away.
Yes.
All right.
That's going to potentially cut into our soccer watching.
We got to go. These are my last 2 teams standing.
Oh, good. Paul says Jarmo Kekalainen's about to speak downtown. So we'll be on the lookout for that after the update. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog. This is WGR.
We go live now to Sabres general manager Jarmo Kekalainen speaking in downtown Buffalo.
You told me you were impressed with Colton Ellis. Was it one of those situations, too, where maybe Colton kind of moved ahead of him and somebody that maybe you were counting on a little bit more?
Well, we liked Colton Ellis a lot the time that he was here. That's why we carried 3 goalies, because we didn't want to take a chance of losing him on waivers. So, yeah, that factored in for sure.
How was the negotiations with Olin? Was that pretty simple to put together?
Yeah, I think that we had a good negotiation, good productive negotiation with his agents, and he really wanted to get a contract done, and we really wanted to get a contract done, and it all worked out good.
How are you feeling about where things stand with Peyton Gross?
Oh, some negotiations take a little less time, and some negotiations take a little more time, and he's got the arbitration right, so the process goes that their side is evaluating what the award may come in, and we're evaluating where the award may come in, and usually it's in between those 2 levels somewhere, and sometimes both sides just want to get a deal done, understanding that that's the range, and sometimes it takes a little longer.
Is that still a player that you consider kind of an important piece to what you're
Absolutely. I mean, he's a really important piece for us. It's just part of the business. Sometimes it takes a little longer.
Now that the draft is over and as free agency goes on here, is Hellebuck still a conversation piece?
I never get into the speculations or the rumors of different trades. We approach the draft time and before the free agency and now free agency with all options to make our team stronger. But all those talks between other teams and other players involved, I'm never going to comment on that.
Are you intrigued by the amount of publicity that alleged talk is getting? I mean, you normally don't see the Buffalo Sabres in that kind of conversation.
I don't really follow that conversation, but obviously I get sent some of those messages that this was a silly rumor, and our players' names get asked about, and I can say that whenever we felt that there may have been an opportunity to make the team stronger, the ask is always our really good young players that we don't want to have any reason to part with. So that was usually a short conversation.
Yarmo, you trade Bowen Byram, you acquire Olin Zellweger, trade Alex Tuck for the sign and trade. How do you kind of maintain the integrity of the mission of winning a Stanley Cup and being a contender with those new pieces and new personalities on the roster?
I think that we patched the holes on defense with Olin Zellweger, believing he's a guy that can grow into the role that Bo Byram was at. Probably not there yet. Bo Byram is a really good defenseman for us. We still have three really good defensemen in place. I'd say that's a luxury to have three defensemen the level of Rasmus Dahlin, Matthias Samuelsson, Owen Power. And then we acquired Louis Crevier that can battle for the fourth spot as well. We still have Connor Timmins and Zach Metza. I think our D group is really strong. So we believe in that. And I said that we're going to miss Alex Tuck, but we'll be fine. We have so many young forwards that are only going to get better. And we got Kulik coming back, hopefully healthy now this year. He missed almost the whole year. He already got 17 goals the year before. I believe in growth in those young players that they're going to get to the next level just by getting a year more experienced, older, stronger, quicker, all those things. So I think you're going to see some of these guys gravitate to the opportunity that was left there by Alex Tuck's departure, and we'll be fine.
Kind of sure he's a guy who spent most of the last 10 or so years in the NHL. He's played here. What do you maybe envision for him? Could he be a minor league depth guy?
Yeah, every organization needs depth. There's always going to be injuries, so you're going to have to rely on your depth with players that that can play in the NHL, and Conor Sheary's one of them. He's got a lot of experience in the league, so I think he's going to be a good depth piece for us.
Might he split some time? I mean, it wasn't last year, but the year before he spent more time in Syracuse. He did in Tampa. Might he split some time between Rochester and Buffalo?
Well, that's a training camp decision, and when we get there, it's going to be a lot of internal competition for ice time or role on the Buffalo Sabres, and we'll talk with the coaching staff at training camp who earns a spot on the 23-man roster.
And Trevor Kuntar, what kind of surprise was he last year, just for the organization? Here in the NHL contract, he scored 20 goals.
Yeah, he was a hard guy to play against in the American League. I wasn't at the game when he got his only NHL game. But I watched it on video or on TV live, and he's got a lot of courage, and he can get onto the opponent's skin, and he's hard to play against, and he goes to the hard areas. So, he's still a young guy. So I think that there's potential there to become an NHL player.
What do you make of your old guy Bob going to the Leafs?
That's Leafs business, so I'm not going to comment on Leafs business. I try to stay away from any other team's business. I got enough to worry about with the Buffalo Sabres.
Well, I know you're not going to get into specifics, but are there still some guys you have your eye on in free agency?
We're still open for business, yeah, for sure. If there's an opportunity to make our team better, but by no means we're desperate to add anything right now. It needs to be a perfect fit, both from role, playing, ability, whatever. We've talked at nauseum about this with Lindy and what we may or may not need, and if it's a perfect fit and also financially and cap wise fits our system, then we're open for business.
Yarmo, I would say your fans were kind of roiled yesterday with the announcement of Lucic being hired as a scout. Given the history here and some things that happened off the ice, why do that?
Because I'm a big believer in second chances. We did our due diligence on the matter. We take all those things very seriously, but we have also seen and heard that he's done a lot of personal growth. The one thing that I've always wanted to have on the pro scouting staff is a player that's close to his playing career, because he's still connected to the locker rooms and players he played against and played with. I think that adds an insight that the scouts that have been off the ice for a long time or didn't play in the NHL, they don't have it. He's very eager to work and get on this side of business, and I think he's a he's a good addition to our
Is he
group.
going to be in Vancouver or Boston, or where is he?
No, he lives on the West Coast. He's between Vancouver and LA.
I mean, at the same time, Milan Lucic has had 2 well-publicized domestic violence incidents in the last 15 years. Was the NHL looped in on this hire?
We like I said, we've done our due diligence, and we believe in his personal growth, and we take that very seriously, and that's it.
Another one of these hires. What has Stacey brought for promotions? What has he brought since you hired him months ago?
He's got a lot of experience. He was on the management team of 2 Cup teams and in Tampa, and he's ran a minor league team for years and years in Syracuse. And he's also a really good addition to our management group when we evaluate NHL players and American League players. He's a really good player evaluator and has a great track record, and he's a good person.
You're going to need perhaps a veteran goalie with those 2 kids in Rochester?
Well, we have our options open. We're going to look at some of that, but we also have 3 goalies up top right now, so that's a little bit of a luxury too.
What do you have Eric Stahl doing in the organization? I know you didn't hire him, but he's still here. What is Eric Stahl's role now with you?
I think that he's a really good mentor when he comes around with the young players. He was around a big part of the training camp last year, went to our retreat. He's a guy that can have really good conversations with some of our players, and he's a good example for them how long his career was and how he carries himself now. And there may be something that we expand his role with too. That's work in progress right now, but he's a good person. He was a great leader in his career, had a great career, so I think he can do whatever he wants to expand to in our organization.
Rob, kind of a housekeeping thing. Are you guys going to go with a full ECHL affiliate, or would you just disperse guys where there's room?
Well, we're gonna look at that, and that's something that goes a little bit further into the off season before we decide.
How much work do you think this roster still needs, if any?
We're always looking at options to try to get better, but I think that with this group and the departures are well documented. I think we still have all of our core in place, and the young core is getting more experienced and better with a little bit time for the growth in their hands. And so I really think we're going to be a very good team next year.
With this being July 1st, have the assistant coaches all gotten new contracts, or what is their status?
Yeah, everybody's under contract now. From the locker room staff to medical staff to coaching staff.
Are you close to getting somebody for Mike Leone and his staff to fill in for Vinny?
Yeah, Stacy's working on that stuff too, so I'm sure there's going to be announcements at the right time.
Is Jarkko Ruutu a guy you've got a lot of experience with?
Yeah, he worked with me in Columbus for 10 years. I had him as a player in Helsinki before he even came to the NHL, so I know his character inside and out and his work ethic, and he did some really good work with Columbus when he worked with guys like Gavrikov and Marchenko and Voronkov, and had to use Google Translate to get his message through to analyze the video and correspond with them. So he's a resourceful and hardworking guy that takes it very seriously.
Anyone else?
Thank you.
All right, quick comments from Sabres GM Jarmo Kekalainen. The last thing was interesting. Google Translate made me think of watching World Cup and managers from other countries singing anthems and how they, was that something that they had to learn? Was that job one maybe, that you'd have to learn the anthem of the country you're now
on
coaching?
TV, I got to belt it out. Yeah.
Hardworking.
Right.
Well, otherwise.
Close up shop.
July 1st.
Is what that sounded, right? Does
another
that not,
July 1st.
Does that not sound like close up shop? I mean, we're always looking. Sure, there's Paul asked at the end there. Is there is there anything else you're still like looking? Oh, we're always looking to. I think they're done. It's very curious to me that Kekalainen would choose to speak at 4:00 on this day, because 4:00 is the NHL trade deadline too in March or late February, whenever that comes. And when that comes, there is often, I can remember years where Darcy Regier spoke before 4 o'clock because we're done. We've done whatever we were going to do. It was usually not much to get us excited, but we're done, so I'm available now and I'm going to talk.
It was the famous example being that they hosted a
live chat.
A live chat with him at noon.
On free agency day, on this day. So here we are. We're 4 hours into the free agent market being open. And I one of the first things I said to you, we're trying to figure out when did we talk to Paul, the timing of the day. And Paul said, I feel like Kekalainen might be talking, early in your show. I thought, that's weird. Like, why would he talk 4 hours into free agency? Because that will symbolically say, like, we've done what we're going to do. And, I mean, that doesn't mean that literally has to be the case, but the way he sounded just now, their team is on the floor, I think. That's how he sounds. Any trade talks, I think you walked in while that started at like 5 to 4.
Yes, I missed the beginning.
One of the first things he mentioned was any trade conversations in the run-up to the draft were so focused on our young guys that we just didn't want to give up. And like, okay.
Including Benson, apparently, in terms of Winnipeg.
I guess that, yeah. I mean,
reportedly,
that's a hang up. That's a hang up on you. Ask, I think, to me. Like, what if they really ask for him? I mean, I guess shoot your shot, right? Maybe you never know. How desperate are they for this goalie? Maybe they'll give us this guy that they just signed to a 7-year contract.
It's a really interesting thing, how big you choose to go in those negotiations.
Right.
And you can offend.
Yeah, and I think that for me that offended me to read it. Right, I'm not the manager of the Sabres, but like I read it, like, get out of here.
I know
we're not getting that guy in that trade. But look, the big news here is I think that they're done. I'm reluctant. I mean, there's still a whole off season here, but he's talking like we're going to replace Tuck with the guys we have. He says we feel like we've competently filled the hole left by Byram, and he talked about, despite Paul pushing the left-right-handedness of the defense pairs, he said, I think Zellweger's ready to play not at the level Byram did, but to take on that role and eventually fill those shoes. So they have a mind, I think, at least if Kekalainen's not just BSing us, that the guy they traded for from Anaheim is going to be Power's partner. Which is fine. That's what I thought initially. Paul was the one who stuck a stick in my spokes on that idea and said he thought maybe Crevier because he's the other hand.
Zellweger is this player.
Zellweger, thank you.
Yep.
So, I don't know, man. Like, Sabres fans, I have to say if they are indeed done, if this is it, there's no more Hellebuck trade. I don't know if there ever was a Dylan Larkin trade or a Jason Robertson trade. Matthew Nye, whatever, they sound like they're ready to go to the cottage.
Yeah.
The Sabres.
Yes.
I'm pretty curious how that's going to go over. Because it does not feel good to me right now. I think they needed something that isn't speculative young guys that they're very hopeful about. I mean, I'm as encouraged, I can't say as anyone, because someone may just think any one of those guys can just play Alex Tuck's role and get 70 points for them. I think that's a little presumptuous. So I always thought at least something had to happen there, and we got Connor Sherry today.
That's almost funny. That's Corkum-esque.
Yeah.
A player from the past.
Look, I don't feel good at all right now about this. I don't feel good at all right now.
Well, I want to be a little bit more optimistic than that, because I think it's always been reasonable to believe that everything he says about his young forwards will be correct. It doesn't even necessarily have to be all of them, but their roster is in a great place, I think, in that way. And I don't mind that he was unwilling to flip even Zach Benson, but the other names are, we know, Helenius, Ostlund, Kulik, to get to some, potentially, some sort of kingpin player. And it also, I want to say this at least once, it also doesn't have to be a done deal that they won't end up, because those guys, like we talked about yesterday, still have not been traded to other teams. I don't hear anything about anybody on that list today at all. Do you?
No.
Larkin, Robertson, Nyes, I guess Werenski a little bit if it were he, but it's not. That's not a Sabres idea.
Right.
And then Hellebuck, I haven't seen anything today about any of those guys. So, yeah, let's get the press conference in and let's have a beer. And, if somebody doubles back, then we can talk about that, because there is still, each case is different. There is still perhaps some urgency on behalf of those players' teams to do something. I have thought that the way the insiders treated Hellebuck in their reporting, that Winnipeg wanted to do that with somebody. But they got locked out on Florida, and Buffalo, it seems, just would not bend the knee.
Right.
And I don't know where that leaves them or where it leaves him. I mean, he has only so much control over the situation. But I wasn't dying for that anyway.
The very best. Listen, I'm disappointed that nothing. Certainly nothing big is imminent, and nothing big has happened yet. This could work. I mean, one of those kids could be the rookie of the year or like a contender for that. All right. I mean, there's a lot of talent there. So okay. But the best I can do to sort of swallow the last 20 minutes or so, listening to how Kekalainen just sounded, is that the timing of it 4 hours into free agency, while you're making the point that is the right point to make, that any of the kingpin guys have not been traded. Any of them. They're still out there. And maybe Kekalainen is enough of a card player to say, you know what? Let me go talk to the media and sound like I'm about to go rip into a 30-pack of Molson's, and let's see if that jogs anything loose. Like, maybe Kevin Cheveldayoff calls me right at 4:15 because he heard that we sound like we're closing up shop for the summer and we're done, and maybe something breaks loose that way. Maybe it was a tactical decision to talk at 4 o'clock. That is the most glass half full thing I can give you. And it could be. I doubt it, but it's possible.
Well, why you and anybody else might be a little bit twisted about this is really two things. It's that Alex Tuch is gone and has not been replaced by anybody new. The simple fact that there's a big minus on the roster from last year. But it's also the past. And referencing other July 1st, quote, experiences, which are basically all this.
Like this, yeah.
They're all just sort of sad in Sabres history. It's really both. And I think I said this yesterday, and I think this is maybe the most interesting conversation to have at this point in time about them, is whether that second thing is really a thing right now, that they can't attract players. They don't all have no trade clauses, and the Sabres have ammunition for trades, but the players have a lot of power. They have more power than ever. And if a guy, one of those shortlist names, it's known would not be happy, then I think you just don't do it. And I'll say again, I think the kind of rebuild of the reputation, or even simply build, because I'm not sure what they're rebuilding from, the 70s with the Sabres. I mean, really, it's not just when Briere left. Like, the Sabres have almost always had a certain different ownership, but almost always had a certain reputation that kind of stops short. And is that something that is in their way in 2026? Is that something that Kekalainen just experienced in the last 2 weeks for the first time, being in charge of it here, that I can't necessarily get what I want, even if I think my offers are fair, because there's like a Buffalo problem. And I think that it's case by case. We don't know how it would certainly vary among players, of course. But it probably would take more than one good season when you lost in the second round, if it's even possible, to get to a point where you're on like the highest level of teams, because they're almost never going to be that.
Yeah.
But where you can really advance to become an organization that you're going to get a certain respect that you heretofore did not. I don't know if that's different. He's not going to give you that. Is there a stigma? Because, Adams did kind of show you his cards, but he shouldn't. I mean, and it burned Adams to sort of go in on his particular disadvantages. I think most guys would maybe Adams too, would prefer not to do that. And so is Kekalainen going to, brush off any question about whether he's got that particular problem?
Yeah.
It's just, it's broad, and there'd be a pretty wide range of takes among players about it. So you can only go so far with it. But that's part of, I expect if we get any phone calls about this today, I mean, it's 90 out. And it's July 1st. This is a day where I would like to take a break from the radio myself. But if we get 5 phone calls today about this, I bet 3 of them are going to talk about the past. And I don't know that that's wrong. But it's not necessarily something that really is part of the equation right now.
We don't get to know just how much. I mentioned yesterday, a guy that's a free agent now or being asked to waive a no-trade clause. He might have been 4 years old when Briere and Drury left. So, I doubt that there's scar tissue there or that they even know about it. But you know what star players in the league do know about, especially American ones that are good friends with a certain former departed number 2 overall pick, is that this organization, the ownership of this organization, would not allow Eichel to get the health care he wanted, to get the surgery he wanted. And Larkin, for example, has always been described as being very close with Jack Eichel. And frankly, it would not surprise me in the least if Dylan Larkin was someone who's like, I don't care if I have a 1-team no trade, Buffalo's on it. I'm not going and playing there. They did not take care of, players they're not going to get lost in the weeds of he said and then she said. It's like Jack couldn't get what he wanted done. I'm not doing it. It's like that, and that has nothing to do with signing guys or winning games. It's just a thing that is there that I don't like to think about. But when it comes to a moment like this, and you think about what does the new GM of the Sabres, what's he up against? Right? How hard is it to convince people that this is a desirable location now? When you're talking about the best of the best in the league, that's a thing that would be on the list, and that's pretty recent. So I hate that I have to even acknowledge that, but I think to be thorough, it has to be said.
In other news, Trocheck to Utah.
Phew.
You go to Utah, Trocheck. You stay in Utah.
Well, go long on that.
Right?
I'm ready. I don't want to keep saying what I'm saying.
This is classic July 1st Sabres content.
Not enjoying the sound of my voice right now.
The best part is other guys going to other places. Skipping the conference.
At least I never got to a place where I'm mad that the Sabres didn't get a guy I didn't want. Because we've been there. And we've been there I didn't even want that guy. How come you couldn't get him?
Yeah.
It's insanity, right?
Well, you can have that today if you want it.
Yeah.
Whether it's Trocheck or Hellebuck or whoever else. I mean, what are they going to go into next season as in terms of a favorite? We know a little bit about that already because the Cup odds came out right when the Cup was won. And the Sabres were kind of down the list. So from that perspective, it wasn't too much of a compliment about who they are. And I suppose, these are pretty sophisticated things. Expectations on Tuck or even Byram are probably baked into it, at least a little bit. But, not great. But I'm not going to spend the next, 4 months, 3 months, sitting around and imagine them finishing 5th. This I think we can hopefully safely say about them that they can get after it. I guess that's not the right phrase for right now because what exactly did they get after? What did they do? But, I mean, there's a lot to like, is all I'm saying. And if they want to play it forward with Helenius, Kulik, Benson, well, obviously Benson because he signed, and Ostlund, I'm here for it. I'm really excited to see what that is. I mean, they're probably not. Kekalainen said they'll all get stronger and better, and the odds aren't necessarily so that they'll all get better.
Yeah, I think the move when you're that flush with guys, including now the draft picks from this past Friday, not to mention Saturday, but really it's they had 2 first-rounders on Friday night. The move there is to pick one. You want to pick the right one, but you got to pick one. Pick one, send them away, and turn them into something to help you right now. And whether that's Ostlund and Mertka and a future pick or whatever, like that to me, when I've got all 3 of those guys, Kulik, Ostlund, and Helenius are not all playing top 6 minutes on this team next year. Like, there's not roles for all those guys. So if you divested yourself of one of them and plugged a hole with a veteran, you're creating competition. You're also, I think, representing to the team, to the veteran players that are still here, like, we recognize Tuck's importance, and we want to make sure that we bolster this thing and keep this thing full speed ahead. And I don't know. I'm really curious how – I know what the players will say when they get a chance to talk about it months from now, which is like, oh, these guys are super talented. We're really excited about them, blah, 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 blah. But I don't know, man. I think if I'm Tage Thompson, I'd rather be lining up with a 28-year-old dude who can grow a beard to go try to win the Stanley Cup instead of, filling in with 20-year-olds.
803-0550 for your thoughts. How disappointing is today? Not to say you have to be that way, but that's kind of the vibe right now. Lines are open for your calls. We'll be back after the update. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog, WGR.
Summer often means your driveway becomes more
Free agency is about 4.5 hours old in the NHL. The Sabres, though, could already be done. They've made a few moves. Goalie Devin Levi heading to Edmonton, along with a 7th in 2028 for a 3rd-round pick in 2028. They have signed defenseman Olen Zellweger to a 3-year deal, an average annual value of $3.1 million. And then a number of signings all confirmed at the same time. Defenseman Dennis Gilbert and forward Connor Sherry each to a one-way deal worth $850,000. And they also signed forwards Trevor Kuntar 2 years and Jason Polin 1 year, 2-way contracts. We also did hear from General Manager Jarmo Kekalainen. If you want to listen back to that or you missed it, you can find it on the Odyssey app or our website, WGR550.com. Now to the rest of the league. Winnipeg adds a goalie, Stuart Skinner, 2 years, $3.75 million per year. Toronto also adding a goalie, Sergei Bobrovsky, 3 years, $7 million per year. Forward Boone Jenner goes to Washington, 4 years at $5.75 million per year. And then San Jose adds quite a bit to their defense. They signed Jacob Trouba, 4 years, $8.25 million per year, and they also trade for Darnell Nurse. We also had some extensions. Devils lock in Nico Hischier, 5 years, $11.7 million per year. Montreal, Ivan Demidov, 8 years, $9.1 million. And then Bo Byram, he gets his contract. Chicago locks him in 6 years, $12.5 million. Then in the World Cup, earlier today, England avoided disaster. 2 goals from Harry Kane gives them the 2-1 win over the Congo. Senegal leads Belgium 1-0. We're in the 33rd minute of that one. And then the United States, they're going to face off against Bosnia and Herzegovina later tonight at 8 o'clock. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Headlines. Paddock Chevrolet with you for the extra mile since 1935. I'm Zach Jones for Western New York's Voice of the Fan, WGR.
I said that we're going to miss Alex Tuck, but we'll be fine. We have so many young forwards that are only going to get better, and we got Kulik coming back, hopefully healthy now this year. He missed almost the whole year. He already got 17 goals the year before. I believe in growth in those young players, that they're going to get to the next level just by getting a year more experienced, older, stronger, quicker, all those things. So I think you're going to see some of these guys gravitate to the opportunity that was left there by Alex Tuck's departure, and we'll be fine.
Jarmo Kekalainen does not have big moves to report or discuss today. What about it? 803-0550. One of the great rivalries in sports taking place now. Bulldog versus Bulldog at the World Cup. 2 of his teams in our pool are playing each other. That's unfortunate. You can't get 2 wins out of it. Just one. You will get one.
That's tough. And I already lost DR Congo today.
What a showing,
yeah,
however.
It really, really was. Yeah.
What an amazing first half. This World Cup has not been short of incredible matches.
Incredible games. The biggest stars in the sport are doing the most important things in the games on a daily basis. Right? Like Haaland got the winner late for Norway the other night. You Harry Kane today with both goals to put England through after being down 1-0. Mbappe yesterday was incredible again. Like the first goal he scored was one of the best plays I've ever seen a soccer player make by himself. And you had the hat trick, Messi, and the thing started with 2-goal games from all of these studs. Even Ronaldo got a goal. But the biggest stars are shining, and it's really, really incredible.
I want to say, Mr. Soccer over here, that Mexico last night looked like the best team in it.
I didn't watch a lot. I had it on and I zonked out. The rain, thunder, lightning delay was tough.
Which was great for me because ADP chasing. But, I mean, they're not the favorite. They do get to play England at home.
Right.
And that could be incredible.
I think they're there in that stadium in Mexico City the next 2 games if they keep going.
It's 2 more?
2 more. I believe that's what I heard last night, that they stay home. If they win this next match, they stay there again.
No.
I hope, no, I'm mistaken. Sorry.
It was that one and this one.
Oh,
maybe.
Apology.
They'll go to Miami. The winner of Mexico-England plays in Miami.
Okay.
On July 11th. But they were awesome last night, I thought. I mean, France is the favorite. France and Spain. England's right there. They got through today. What a great game. All of it's so good. Senegal won. Senegal, parentheses, Bulldog, 1. Belgium, parentheses, Bulldog, 0. Yeah. 37th minute.
I don't really know.
Winner, Winner of this game gets the winner of tonight's USA Bosnia-Herzegovina game.
Oh, great! And I have Bosnia-Herzegovina in a different thing too. So I'm like, I guess I'm anti-American.
You got boxed out.
Yeah, I did.
You're all in one quadrant.
Yeah.
Let's go to Carl here. Hi, Carl.
Hi, guys. I think what Yarmo said today was kind of lackluster. Like, you need to replace Stuck. These young guys, like, they're good, but there's no reason they should get top 6 minutes right now. They're going to play a bottom 6 role right now. You need how many points did Tuck have? Like 69 points or something like that? I think you need to replace that, sort of. Like, Mason Marchment was out there. You could have had that.
Yeah.
I hear stuff about Patrick Kane, but Patrick Kane is old, but
yeah,
it would be cool to see.
Yeah. See, I don't like either of those ideas because I don't think either of those guys can really skate with the Sabres. Like, Marchment might give you some semblance of the offensive production, but his defensive game is woeful, and that is something that Tuck was great at. So that's a hard player to find in one person, which is part of the reason why he got $10.5 million to go to Washington. There has not been a signing today that I feel bad about missing out on. I can say that as depressed as I feel right now, because to me, the way Jarmo Kekalainen sounded when he spoke at around 4:00 is that they're putting the boards up on the windows and going out of town, like that they're done. That's how it sounds to me.
It wasn't only an early press conference; it was short.
Yeah.
So, what are your questions here? Let's go.
I think the thing that anyone, and you've already said it, and you should say it whenever it can be presented, and I don't mean to steal it from you, like, it is important to recognize that none of the trades that were talked about for days, if not weeks, leading up to the deadline, or to the draft and now into free agency, very few. Byram happened. You know, like that's Darnell Nurse has been traded today, finally, from Edmonton to San Jose. San Jose's got $9 million in Nurse and $8.25 in Trouba. Nurse is a decent enough player, but he's never been $9 million worth of player. So thoughts and prayers. Anyway, like some things are happening. But like Hellebuck still hasn't been traded, and Winnipeg did still sign Stuart Skinner today. And I highly doubt that they signed him to $3.75 a year, I think is the contract. I got to check and make sure. 2 years, it's under 4. Still, that's not backup Connor Hellebuck money, I don't think. So maybe they're still going to work on trading Hellebuck, and that can still happen here. I don't know. It's just that Kekalainen today sounded like, I don't want to trade any of the kids. And they can capably, we just played the clip. One of them will replace Alex Tuck. So, I mean, he doesn't sound real bent about getting busy here. But maybe something can still happen if the price comes down enough. I don't know, with Hellebuck.
At the risk of being too much of an apologist for this, how many players really that we know of were there or are there that would have qualified as somebody that works as somebody to replace Tuck? It can't just be any player in the league. It can't be Draisaitl. It can't be anybody that's out there. There's only a small number. It's longer than the ones we know about, probably. It's not just Larkin and Robertson or Nyes, right? It's not just the guys who've been public with their wanting or maybe wanting to move. But it's not also that many more. Like, it's not it's not that many more. So I think sometimes with these things, and I'm defensive right now because I feel like I'm always kind of taking this position, and I get it if it feels like a letdown here. But I don't want to say it's hard to win games in the National Football League. But that's what I thought of. I mean, you might have a dozen players, if that, in the NHL that are on a list. And we would trade Consta Helenius and a draft pick for one of these 10 forwards, 12 forwards. What number should it be? 25? I mean, how many should it be?
I don't know.
We would trade him and X, Quinn, Luukkonen. We would trade this group, this package, for one of these players. and none of them is traded. And like, okay, well, did I blow it? Should I have just gone Tim Murray and thrown in more, just whatever it takes? Maybe. I mean, maybe that's what we can't know what it's going to be on the ice. But it's always two things. It's what you can reasonably predict it will be on the ice, and then it's also, like this was Hellebuck, I say was, what it does to your fans. I mean, that is season tickets. You go get the gold medal winning Olympic goalie who's been the best goalie in the league for most of the last decade. Travis Yost can sit over there for a minute. I'm selling tickets. And, I
think they've already done a ton of that.
I think they've done a ton of that. The disappointment in the air right now is partly that there was an opportunity to do more of that and just kick it up another level. And as you do that, you're also redefining, to those who need this, the Sabres image as a goer, as a doer. And you don't have that. You don't have those pieces today. You have the opposite. You have flashbacks to every other year, literally in Sabres history, where July 1st is other teams get nice things and we don't.
Yeah. And I want to at least, I think it's fair to wonder. I don't know how, I said earlier, like I know what the players will sound like when they get talked to and asked about, what the team looks like right now. They're going to be excited and the young guys look great and yada, yada, yada. But I wonder, like wherever Tage Thompson is right now, wherever Rasmus Dahlin is right now, are they feeling like me? Are they feeling like, I thought we were done with this sort of stuff? What happened here? We traded away Bo, we traded away Tuck, and we signed Connor Sheary? What? What? And I bring that up, like, they'll get over it. They're pros. Like, I haven't always loved every single decision that gets made around here, but I come in the next day and I do my job.
Oh, I forgot to not come in today.
Right? Speaking of that, right, Mr. My contract's up. So, there's a suck it up mentality that, you're a pro, you're under contract, you got a job to do. But, like, I don't know how much of what happened here this year was maxing out effort, guys not wanting to let one another down, that kind of thing. Does that take a hit now? Because I think they needed every bit of that. They needed every bit of talent and skill and determination and grit and everything they had. But it also was they became hard to play against because they never quit on, very seldom did they quit on plays. And that is hard to do. It is often the big difference between the best teams and teams that are just pretty good. And I don't know. I'm left to wonder how that lands on this team, this group, this leadership group.
Fair enough.
And that really, I can get tangled up assuming that that's going to be terrible, and it doesn't have to be. Like Tage Thompson might be sitting on a deck somewhere overlooking a lake in Muskoka or somewhere. I mean, he's American, maybe it's New England, whatever. You get the he's in Maine. I don't know. Wherever he is, he might be thinking, Helenius is better than Tuck. We're all set. I hope that's what he's thinking, but I'm worried about the other end of that, which is, what the hell are we doing?
Who did you put in Muskoka?
He was in Muskoka, and then I moved him to Maine because Thompson.
Thompson, okay.
He's American. He might have a place in Bar Harbor for all I know.
Listen, we're Americans, and we love Muskoka.
That's right.
That's where I would go.
My last cottage vacation was Muskoka.
It's amazing. It's great. It's close. It's summer. I don't think you need Maine. Nothing against it. I don't feel like I've ever really done Maine. Just barely. Ogunquit. Twice.
I really love Maine.
But the park Acadia is so far up there.
Yeah. Right.
Like that's almost 2 trips.
It is, yeah. It's like 8 hours to like Portland and then another 6 up to there.
And you've been there?
Yeah.
I have not.
I love it there. I do.
You would go to Maine over Muskoka?
I would, yeah. The ocean. You got the ocean and the piney mountain thing, which is just hard to beat. So, anyway.
And maybe Wi-Fi. Muskoka can be sus. Depends on the house that you rent. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here for your calls at 803-0550. Thank you, Carl, for yours. This is WGR. Caller 5 at 716-221-4WGR 4947 wins a $50 gift card to Connor's Restaurant on Seneca Street in West Seneca. It is Beef on Weck Wednesday, Bulldog. Every Wednesday, score 4 Connor's Beef on Weck meals for just $55 or 1 for $15 because Connor's is better. Boom.
All right. Let's go.
Toronto did a lot today.
Some beef on Wex. Yeah, they did.
Let me know when you're ready to tell me how that looks. What Toronto did Toronto do well? Bobrovsky, the Radish trade too already, sign and trade. The Sabres were not that busy, or by results, but the Leafs were. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog. More after this.
5 hours into NHL free agency, and the Sabres, they might be done. But they have made a few moves, all of which are now official. Goaltender Devin Levi is going to Edmonton, along with a 7th-round pick in 2028. In exchange for a 2028 third-round pick, defenseman Olen Zellweger signing a 3-year deal, an average annual value of $3.1 million, and then a cluster of smaller moves that were announced all at the same time. Defenseman Dennis Gilbert and forward Connor Sherry, each a one-way deal worth $850,000, and they are also signing forwards Trevor Kuntar, 2 years, and Jason Polin, 1 year, to two-way contracts. We have also already heard from General Manager Jarmo Kekalainen. If you missed that, you want to listen back to it, it's going to be over on the Odyssey app or our website, WGR550.com. Now to the rest of the league. There have been some big moves today. Winnipeg adding a goalie, Stuart Skinner, 2 years, $3.75 per year. Toronto also getting in on the goaltender fund. Sergei Bobrovsky, 3 years, $7 million per year. Forward Boone Jenner goes to Washington, 4 years, $5.75 million per year. And San Jose gets some defensive help. Jacob Trouba, 4 years, $8.25 million. And then San Jose also trades for Darnell Nurse. We also had some extensions as well. Devils lock in Nico Hischier, 5 years, $11.7 per year. Montreal, Ivan Demidov, 8 years, $9.1 million per year. And Bo Byram gets his contract with Chicago, 6 years, $12.5 million per year. In the World Cup, England avoids disaster. 2 goals from Harry Kane gives them the win over the Congo, 2-1. Senegal leads Belgium 1-0 at half. And then at 8 o'clock, U.S., they'll be up against Bosnia and Herzegovina. While in baseball, Bison's at St. Paul. First pitch for that one just after 8 o'clock. It can be heard on our sister station, The Bet, 1520. While in the majors, the Yankees fall to Detroit 6-2, and the Jays, they lead the Mets 5-0 in the 5th. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Update. Paddock Chevrolet with you for the extra mile since 1935. I'm Zach Jones for Western New York's Voice of the Fan, WGR.
It's Mike Schopp and the Bulldog.
I gotta wonder what kind of working relationship you'd have with Satan.
It's Mike Schopp.
I've often wondered that.
Well, he, they, I don't know what his pronouns are, or their pronoun. Anyway, Satan.
And the Bulldog.
What's the upside of doing well?
Well, maybe they're too busy making everyone else's life hell.
Oh, boy.
And you might just be able to do your own thing if you're partnered with Satan.
It's Mike Schopp and the Bulldog.
They're too busy, making Scott Norwood miss field goals.
Oh, come on.
On WGR, Sports Radio 550.
Well, is it too soon to get that lineup piece of paper off the wall and write in names?
Oh, yeah, no, that's a thing.
You can do that
That's
now.
a thing that I should have done that during this break. But I was busy doing other things.
Well, I think it'd be even better live.
Least like work adjacent. I feel like I was working on work.
I think it could be really interesting and riveting even live.
Oh, well, I need a piece of paper and a pen.
I have those things.
And I need that sheet. Don't get this rumpled, used. Get out of here.
Well, what am I, a copy machine? You want me just to pull a piece of paper out of my sweaty back?
It's used. There's writing on both sides. It's not going to work.
Here.
That is not.
Is this any better?
That is not going to work. Don't you have a notebook that you've only written on one side of each page in?
I have several. I found another gem of those, by the way, recently.
Oh, yeah.
The 82-83 Sabres season. Each game written out, all the goals and assists. I mean, that's ironic because we had newspapers in those days that would actually provide that for you. But I had to write it out. I did one of these today. Here.
This might...
Latest World Cup grid. Latest World Cup grid. Trying to plot a course to a Survivor Cup championship.
All those papers over there, and there's not a blank side anywhere. We're on the air.
I'm not giving you one of these because these are reverse AFC Power Rankings pages. I can't get that out of position.
I understand.
Because it goes up there if you do that.
What's this thing by your vitamin water? What is that?
I was passing this to you when you stood up. This is the game notes from Game 7.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, there's a blank enough page. That'll work.
Blank enough.
All right. Of note here, here's how good at this I am. Last year when I did this exercise, Shane Doan did not have a line.
Josh Doan.
Josh Doan. This says Doan. Yes. Okay. Josh
or
Doan.
Both.
Well, that's right. Shane Doan also did not have a spot in their top 12 forwards.
How did he do with the draft, in your opinion? Josh Doan with Dawkins. Fine.
Yeah.
You cannot look good serving any on-stage purpose at the NHL draft, is my opinion. There's just no way it ever comes off.
I think that's right. I think
Bettman's stiffness is it resonates so greatly that it just touches everything, and there's no smooth operator on those things. I think you're canceled out.
I think Dawkins did as well as he can up there.
Yeah.
Sure. Do you think Thurman purposefully said NFL draft?
No.
It was an honest mistake?
At one time, even before that, Bettman said NFL.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I didn't notice that.
Thurman was not the first to do it.
Wow. That is, that's something.
Oh, you Buffalo, with your enthusiasm, we love it. Keep it going. I love getting booed.
Yeah.
I don't know how to, he's like one of us if, you get a prank call every once in a while, right? As every radio host, if you're at it long enough, you get messed with. And Bettman is the host who would never let it go. So he's hosting Swap Shop, and Richard and Sal call in with some nonsense. And Bettman as a host would be the guy that would talk about it for 15 minutes about, don't you have anything better to do? But we love that you're listening. He would just go on and on and on and on, as opposed to doing the only right thing you can do as a host in that situation is just done.
Get out of
Pretend it never happened.
Right.
Or even enjoy it.
Right.
Even admit to enjoying it. But it's got to be funny. Those guys are funny. Anyway, what is this about? You're going to make a lineup.
I'm doing it. Yeah, I was pointing out how Josh Doan didn't have a line at this time last year. I do think
he does now.
Yeah, you betcha. I do think it's hang on, who's Carrick? Sorry, I was trying to write just so we could do this maybe on the air. Not have me just write down what I think the lines are going to be. We can talk out what they should be, what we think they should be. So I thought I'd start with the centers.
Give me Thompson on the wing.
So, right. So I've got Kulich and Norris, McLeod, and Carrick, I think are my four centers.
Okay.
Right? Carrick's got another year on his contract. So, I assume that's going to get done. Let me cross off guys who are gone from last year's list. Tuck gone, Greenway gone.
Right.
Danforth is still here. Roseanne is gone. Wahlberg is gone.
Yep.
Geertsen.
You wrote all those names down?
Yeah. They were extras. I had the four lines. Here, I'm showing Twitch. Okay. I had the four lines and then the extra forwards.
Okay.
Danforth is still here. I don't know if he's ever playing again, but he's still here. The D, let's see, Kesselring is gone. Bryson is gone.
That's unfortunate.
Zach Jones is, he didn't get a qualifying offer. I assume he's gone. Ryan Johnson is still around, right? I didn't know anything about Zach Metza. He was not on this list last year.
Undrafted.
Yeah. We've got Crevier and Zellweger now.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So I'm just trying to get the pool together here so I can do this.
What's the process? Are you writing it on last year's page or a third page?
I didn't start on the third page yet other than the centers. Kulich, Norris, McLeod, Carrick. Do you think, because I might venture a guess, that if Kulich looks like Kulich, he was penciled in here as their number 2 center last year.
By you.
With Norris on top.
Okay.
I feel like it wouldn't be a huge upset if he shows up and is playing with Benson and Thompson.
I agree. No, I would expect it.
So you're okay if I put Benson and Thompson on Kulich's wings?
Yes.
Okay.
Thompson, of course.
Yeah, right. Thompson had, it's funny. They've been all over the road on him, right? Center, wing, what's he prefer? Remember Don Granato, get him away from the walls, his reach, you're cutting him off.
Yep.
All that.
Back in the league, by the way.
I think you become a contending level team and his defensive shortcomings almost prohibit you from using him as your number 1 center. I don't think you can have him on the ice against Macklin Celebrini. I think you're just really worried about his defense. So I think he almost has to be a winger if you're going to be a contending level team.
Or even Caulfield.
Right. I mean, anybody. He's just not that guy. Norris is a much better 200-foot player. And I don't know about Kulich's defense at this point, but they talked about him as someone who was totally up for that job. So there's our top line. All right, what do you want to do with Norris's line mates? Is that Quinn and a kid?
Osland?
What
do you think? I guess Quinn.
I think it's funny. Like Osland looked so good in the middle in those playoff games when he was playing for Norris, but
you already used up those spots.
Yeah, I think. Well, Norris is on your team. He's playing center, and he's playing a top 6 role, and that's the end of that, right? So,
but Krebs won't play center in this lineup.
No,
either.
No, he won't. He's still got to get signed. I think Yarmo was asked about him. It was hard to hear the questions. I think even for me. Sitting in here, let alone you people out there. So I think Yarmo was asked something, and he just gave a sort of a very curt, some things take time.
Yep.
He's an important player to us.
That was a absolute get in, get out press conference.
I'm pretty sure that was about Krebs. All right, so you want to put Quinn? Where was
still have Zucker?
Right. Wasn't Quinn, McLeod, Zucker really good for a while? They wouldn't break it up, and then finally they had to. I feel like maybe I want to stick with that.
Okay.
So I'm gonna put Quinn and Zucker on McLeod's wings. That leaves Norris with. Let's see.
You have Malenstein too.
Right. That I'm getting to that.
Okay. I'm rushing you.
That's a fourth line.
Why rush it?
Well, we can do that. Krebs, assuming Krebs gets signed, I'm putting Krebs on Carrick's left wing and Malenstein on Carrick's right wing, and that's that. So now all we have to decide is which 2 of the kids. Am I leaving someone out?
Helen Hughes is
right.
not.
No, I know. Helen Hughes and Osland right now both don't have spots.
Doan has a spot.
Doan has to go with Norris. And then Helen Hughes is the other winger on that line, I think. Is how I'm going to do this for now.
All right.
So Benson, Kulik, Thompson, Doan,
Sherry,
Norris, Helen Hughes, Zucker, McLeod, Quinn, Krebs, Carrick, Malenstein. That right now, extras.
I think that sounds really good.
Danforth is still under contract. Again, I don't know what his status is. Kozak. Is an extra. Man, I don't. Should I write Sherry down here?
Sherry, Kuntar.
Kuntar's on a 2-way deal. That's absolutely Rochester. I'd be really surprised if he wins a job. Sherry, I feel like because he's on a 1-way contract, outranks him.
Okay.
Even though I'll bet if they play the whole year together in Rochester, Kuntar plays just produces way more than Sherry will. But nonetheless. All right, I think I'm done with the forwards for now. And I got to look at Spot Track or, whatever, some salary to make sure I'm not skipping some forward.
I think
that's it.
I'm not thinking of any.
All right. And then, okay, well, let's do the D. I think that's pretty easy. Darlene and Sammy, Power. Did I mention this already? Yes. Kekalainen talked about Zellweger as being a partner for Power. So I want to put him there, even though it's not left-handed, right-handed, like Paul was talking about yesterday. I really feel like Yarmo told you today, we traded for this guy to take Byram's spot.
Okay.
Right?
Good.
And then Timmins and Crevier.
And Metza.
Right. Extra. Metza's extra.
Timmins the extra.
That's what you want to do? Sure. I hear you. Lindy loves Timmins. He's going to be third pair guy.
These hockey people.
He's going to be a third pair guy. I don't think there's any question about it. Oh, my friend Dave Marone from Front Row Sports up in Thorold just texted me.
I met Dave.
Josh Dunn. Forgot about Dunn.
Josh Dunn.
Josh Dunn is an extra. He needs to go on this list. I don't think he outranks any of the people that are in the lineup right now, but he belongs on that list. So there's that. I think that's and then the goalies are the same.
The goalies for now are the same.
Hang on, I had Levi in that third spot. It's Ellis now, right? So it's UPL.
Levi is officially not
on
the list.
He's gone.
Traded.
But Ellis is still here, and I can throw this piece of paper away from last year.
Oh, you're going to junk it?
It's all over. Yeah, it's there's guys that aren't even on the team anymore on that list. So
What about for the museum?
Yeah.
Someday, like my stuff over here, the power rankings.
I don't feel like I need.
I got stacks of them.
Speaking
Literally.
Okay, good. You said the museum. I was looking for the drawing that Jeremy once did long ago about what the scene would look like. Is like a stick figure drawing of the Sabres winning the cup, and like Drew Stafford is still there. A gritty veteran, and there's a billboard on the boards that says Bulldog for Mayor 2020 or something.
How did that not survive?
That's in the control room. I see it from here. It's still out there. So that is a museum worthy piece, not one that I drew, but that's all right. Well, there you go. There's your team, everybody.
There it is. The book is closed on the possibility of changes, which we have been talking about for most of the day.
Right.
That it has sounded like that. There weren't changes when we started, and then the GM spoke and talked like
very much like it was time
ready to get
take
a
a
beer.
seaplane to the cottage is what it sounded like when Kekalainen spoke. Yes. So I think that as of now, that's your team. Maybe something changes that, but I think what gets really complicated now is like the ability to make complementary moves, say, right? Like if you wanted to still trade for Hellebuck and say, that's Mertka and Osland or Helenius or Kulik, one of the three. And I don't know, maybe a McLeod is included in that. I can't go get Vincent Trocheck to replace McLeod because he's gone elsewhere, which I'm glad about, but I'm about to talk myself into nothing else is going to happen again, and I don't think I don't want to go all the way there.
No, but this is an important point. Yeah. It's an extension of the fact that the draft is over.
Yeah.
And now you don't have near as much stuff that you can afford to divest. I mean, it's important that July 1st is mostly over and so many fallback options are already off the table for them. I'm not sure how many they liked, but there would have been a list, and the list is much shorter today if there's still a list.
Yeah. So the Hellebuck thing could still happen. Maybe Winnipeg still wants to move him, but I don't know what I'm doing about it now that I don't think I have all these other moves at my disposal to like fill out my roster if I trade two pieces that are on this team right now. If you can do that without doing that, maybe that's pretty incredible. But it seems like that would be hard to do. So I kind of feel like this is probably your team. Kulik better be good. Norris better stay healthy. And Helenius better be ready to score 30 goals. There it is, everybody. Thanks for coming. I'm going to need to make a neater list of this, just so to hang on the wall. I mean, I need a clean sheet of paper.
It's your birthday. It's easy to get distracted.
Yeah, no. Well, I was rushing. I was trying to write the names down, and I can't even. You should look at Helenius on this. Look at it. There's some vowels in there at the end that I'm not even. I did not distinguish one vowel from the other.
You added an O
because I wasn't sure what order the vowels were in, so I just scribbled some vowels.
It's halfway between printing his name neatly and probably what his signature looks like.
Yeah, right.
Where you could read it. Throw a number on there and you can read it. It's going to look like an autograph. People will ask someday, did he autograph this?
Right.
For you?
Did he make this roster for you? Or these lines combinations for you?
Well, are we going to push forward or just go forward talking about this anymore? What's tomorrow? Are we talking about Connor Hellebuck tomorrow if he's not traded tonight?
Not without some kind of impetus, I think, right? I'm going to need I'm going to need hey, they're circling back. Or even if the Sabres aren't mentioned, I'm going to need Winnipeg is still working.
That's what's going to happen if there's anything. Is I still think Winnipeg. Well, I've said many times, I think they want to do it.
Yeah.
I think they have sort of faced the music on him. And that's why you have all these different insider guys bringing his name up. This is like basically the last week or two, but bringing his name up, that's because they're being told. And did that just die? Florida did a different thing. Buffalo decided not to so far. Jersey was mentioned, maybe Jersey.
Carolina's been mentioned.
You mentioned Carolina before. That's right. It's not Toronto.
Right. They made their move.
I mean, we think he wants to go to the States anyway, right?
A contender in the States. And
all
really,
those teams mostly are.
And I don't know, in Canada, I mean, he's not going to Edmonton. I don't think they can afford him, and they're throwing darts at Devin Levi. Calgary doesn't fit. Vancouver doesn't fit. Montreal's got 2 guys plus Montembeault. They're not doing it. I don't think.
Well, if he gets traded somewhere else, then he does. But as far as the Sabres are concerned, I don't know. I'm not going to think about this that often anymore going forward, right? I mean, just it's soccer time. There's a game tonight.
It's not just a game. It's a U.S. game.
That's right.
Hey, Senegal got another goal, by the way.
Senegal, 2. Belgium, nothing.
I've not seen a single one of these goals.
The winner gets the winner of the USA game tonight in Seattle, by the way. That game will be played in Seattle. The 2 winners. England at Mexico might be the most insane
pretty
thing
hot.
ever.
Yeah, that's pretty hot.
An Englishman announcing the game today. I'm going to say game because I don't want to sound like I think I'm Mr. Soccer. One of the announcers, I think they maybe were both English, and one said he's the best English player ever. Kane. You don't have a take on that, do you? I don't. Something about him I don't like. I don't know. I told you earlier. He's so many guys are this Harry Kane, but as a goal scoring threat, I mean, he's always in jackpots and being marked closely. He's always got his arms out toward the referee or his hands on his head. He always seems incredulous.
Yeah.
And there was a play today that they were arguing about whether it should have been a penalty. I'm like, okay, but he's clearly diving over the guy to try to make it, and that's just so soccer.
Right.
These guys have the ability, the superhuman ability, to get tripped and be in such a devastating condition that they're screaming and writhing in pain, yet are rolling around 5 times.
Right.
They have the strength to keep rolling while they're just basically dying of an ankle tweak.
I don't have enough knowledge to definitively. My opinion on him being the best English soccer player ever is he's better than Wayne Rooney.
I don't even have a list.
He's right. I mean, that's one guy that I think of. He's better than David Beckham.
That's a name.
These are celebrity, famous English soccer players. I can't tell. Maybe Kane is better than all of them. I don't know. Like internationally, like World Cup wise, I don't know. Has Kane blown them out of the water already? Maybe he did. Maybe he has.
He has more World Cup goals in his life than Pele had.
All right, I think he's got a claim to best English soccer player ever. Maybe then that sounds,
yeah. I mean,
that sounds okay to me.
The guy, he sounded like somebody. I'm thinking of Seinfeld and George Costanza. They usually give these people the jobs to these people who know things. Right. So maybe he would be an expert on this. An English soccer announcer probably would know.
Yeah.
Qualified opinion.
I feel like it's not something he would say lightly. That's for sure.
No, right. So. It only came after he scored the second one.
Yeah.
But, I mean...
The second one was a work of art.
It was great, and just the fact that he scored twice late.
Right.
To save them. And that goes down all time. That's all-time stuff. Well, that's next up. At Mexico City. A house of horrors for American teams forever. Azteca Stadium. England gets to take a crack at it in the World Cup. That should be incredible. USA versus Bosnia and Herzegovina tonight at 8 from San Francisco. 803-0550 for your calls. We've been spending most of the day on the Sabres and what didn't happen. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here. This is WGR.
We are well into free agency for the NHL and just a few moves for the Sabres, all of which are official at this point. Goalie Devin Levi heading to Edmonton along with a 7th in 2028 in exchange for a 2028 third-round pick. Defenseman Olin Zellweger signing a 3-year deal, average annual value $3.1 million, and then some smaller moves that were all announced together. Defenseman Dennis Gilbert and forward Connor Sherry each a one-way deal worth $850,000. And they're also signing forwards Trevor Kuntar, 2 years, and Jason Polin, 1 year to two-way contracts. We did also hear from General Manager Jarmo Kekalainen. If you'd like to listen back to that, it's on the Odyssey app or our website, WGR550.com. To the World Cup, England avoids disaster thanks to 2 goals from Harry Kane. They take down Congo 2-1. Senegal leads Belgium 2-0. This one is in the 68th minute. And then at 8 o'clock, the United States, they'll face off against Bosnia and Herzegovina. While in baseball, Bison's at St. Paul tonight. First pitch just after 8, and that one can be heard on our sister station, the Bet 1520. That's Paddock Chevrolet Sports Headlines. Paddock Chevrolet with you for the extra mile since 1935. I'm Zach Jones for Western New York's Voice of the Fan, WGR.
Obviously, I kind of made it clear to my agent I wanted to be here a long time, and, I wanted to get that done as soon as possible to give, our team flexibility and give them room to, make some moves. And, yeah, obviously, I'm super pumped to be here. Our group I think we got something special building here and just super fired up to get the season going.
Zach Benson playing I wanted to give the Sabres flexibility card by settling for $7.5 million a year. Could have I could have done better than that, guys, but really I just wanted the team to be better off. Sure. That's cool, though.
Yeah, I think that contract will age fantastically. I really do. I don't think there's any of the young guys. Like he's as young as any of them, right? He just turned 21 during the playoffs.
Yes.
He's played so much. I just feel like even though the points have not been there, it's what he did in the playoffs. I just feel like in a top line role, which I think he will now have, like without Tuck here, the one of the wing spots on the top line is like absolutely waiting for him to land there. So I think 60 points should be realistic.
Couple of developments on our roster efforts. Josh Dunn left for Washington.
Right, yes.
He's in Washington.
My buddy Dave with the late note on him. Yeah, too late. Yeah.
Too late. And we didn't put Ostlund in?
We did not put Ostlund in our lineup. No. Which is, I think,
possible?
It's definitely possible. It's likely, probably, but it's why you trade one of them or two of them for one guy, because where are they all playing? Like, if you want to put Ostlund in, you are displacing one of, I think, Benson, Thompson, Doan, Helenius, Zucker, Quinn. Quinn's probably he's the weak little baby bison trailing the herd that the Wolves are going to come for. Again, poor Jack Quinn. Trade deadline, who are you going to do? Jack Quinn. Like, I just couldn't wait to tell you. I'll trade Jack Quinn. Give me a 10-year-older version of Jack Quinn or 5-year-older version of Jack Quinn. There's not a spot for one of them because Ostlund is not playing. Like, what are you going to let Krebs go and put Ostlund on the fourth line with Carrick and Malenstein? What are you, on glue? That's not happening.
Not on glue.
So, I don't know. But, yeah, we omitted Ostlund. His name came up during the process,
he did.
I hurried to Helenius on that line with Norris and Doan, and then we just left Ostlund by the side of the road.
Well, let's hope they don't do that.
He's like Macaulay Culkin, just like he's not going to Europe.
What a horrible thing you just did. Shades of reverse AFC power rankings when we get to number 5 and we forgot Tennessee.
Pittsburgh.
Oh, no. I guess they're 5. It's in ink. I am enjoying having the 2018-19 Sabres page up, maybe for the first time ever enjoying it, because Connor Sherry re-signed with the Sabres today. He was here then, and I'm just looking at the names. Your Marco Scandellas.
Oh, boy. Wow. Yep.
Your Casey Nelsons. Your Remy Ellies.
There was a minute where I thought Casey Nelson was going to be really important.
Your young Victor Olofssons, who he signed today.
That shot is elite. Still is.
Shot is elite. The Quinn shot is elite.
I'll bet he has not lost that shot.
I wanted 3. If I could have had 3 more of those, listen to me say this. 3 more of those in the playoffs hit the net, Quinn.
Yeah.
Oh, they're still playing.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess they're probably over, but
one
so
way or the
close
other,
so
yeah.
often.
Right.
And just like he hits a net, it's in.
Yeah.
That guy. They need to bring shootouts into the playoffs. I've always said it.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been big for him.
Yep.
Yeah. So you're Vladimir Sabatkas. Thompson's on that team. 65 games, 12 points.
That took a while.
12 points.
Yeah.
Wow.
The way I remember, like the first sign of life, I think from him, it's one that stands out to me. I don't know if there might have been others that preceded it, but he scored a shootout goal in Detroit. And I like, wow, I remember it just being really impressive. Like, wow, that was really impressive. The hands, yeah, I think so. But it just took. And then he had that injury that one year. He got hurt real early in the year and was gone the whole year. Like he separated his shoulder or something in Chicago and missed. And then I think when he came back, he pretty much was he had turned into Tage Thompson. I think that if I have the timeline right, I don't know.
If I may get away with this, it's a little bit Josh Allen adjacent, where you've got this big talent, and suddenly he sort of transformed.
Yeah.
Allen was never. Again, I'm mixing sports, but 12 points in 65 games.
Right.
But, there was a lot of work to do, and he did it and became elite. And Thompson isn't quite elite. You could use that word maybe for his strengths. But, yeah, like it was said about him, I was never that excited about him because people would say, but you've got to see his shot. And I would say, but how come he never scores? Like, if he's got this great shot, shouldn't there be goals? Like, throughout his, coming up even. And then he started scoring. Then he turned into Mario.
Right. Light.
Light.
Dollar store Mario. Maybe I'll give you that.
Maybe, yep.
But no, there were times stylistically, the way he moved, being such a big man, and with some of the silky, really moves of a smaller guy, it did remind you of Mario.
Can I bring back up? We heard from Benson there, and whoever reported it, the report that had the Jets interested in him, ask for him.
Mm-hmm.
So we had Colton Parayko, and the interesting side light of how did that get out? Usually a trade, everybody's agreed to it before it gets out because everybody looks bad.
Right.
If this happens where the trade is reported, but then the player's under pressure. He doesn't want to go. So he kind of looks bad maybe to our fans. And then the fact that it even got out in the first place might make it shows the team's cards and they don't want that. So nobody wants that. Who leaks that the Jets asked for Benson? Well, the Sabres. The Jets wouldn't tell you that.
Right.
The Jets don't want you to know that they asked for a guy that just signed a $7.5 million per year contract. There's no way you're getting him. Maybe if it goes back to before when he did, but he was such a story in the playoffs anyway.
Even then,
it's a tough one. In a fantasy context, it's like somebody coming to me in tight end premium for Bowers. I'm like, there's no counter offer happen. There's nothing else happening here. I'm just out. I mean, unless it just blows me, I'm just out.
I'm hanging up the phone on you, I think. Yeah.
I'm just out. Yeah, I don't even want to talk about it. I won't tell anybody, but I'm out. The Jets ask for Benson. Who tells the reporter that they did so? The Sabres do, which is not a great sign.
No,
for their negotiations.
They're seeking. They want validation for not making the deal. And I think most Sabres fans would absolutely side with the Sabres on that. Like, I would.
It embarrasses Winnipeg.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, right. Yeah, which could spoil the mood.
You know,
you probably.
I think there's an understanding in these things where we're gonna talk, but don't embarrass. Don't let it out that I wanted this player. The Sabres, no team wants it out who they're willing to get rid of. That's a bad one. You never want. We weren't shopping. You know, who was the player with Kevin Adams last year? He was so.
Well, it was
insistent.
a few years ago. Middlestat was the
That's
one,
right.
and they ended up getting Byram for him.
That's right. We're not shopping him. So what? No conversation can really ever mention his name. Like that's just a non-starter. Why aren't you shopping? You're terrible. Why aren't you shopping everybody?
Right.
So, but that's how badly they don't want to be exposed in that way. And if you leak that the Jets asked for Benson, you make the Jets kind of look like idiots, and they're not going to appreciate that. And I was thought too with Parayko, like that was maybe the Sabres wanting to put the pressure on him before the Blues had even gone to him.
Yeah.
Or maybe the Blues could have wanted to put the pressure on him.
Yeah.
Just the same. Somebody did, because that doesn't happen.
Yeah. I still feel like, not to be a homer and side with the Sabres, because I'm not in a real good mood about them overall right now. So I'm definitely not doing that here. I feel like no one actually ever came out and said the Blues leaked it, but the way it got talked about to me sounded like people settled on the Blues screwed up. They thought they had it and they let it out and they were wrong. There was even a statement.
They said they were checking phones.
There was a statement from the GM. Yeah, there was. So I feel like the smoking gun, the trail ends at the Blues, and if there's another truth out there, I don't know that we'll ever find out.
Okay.
But I feel like it was probably them, but I don't know it either for sure.
Well, the Jets wouldn't tell a reporter that they tried to get Zach Benson.
No, I don't think so.
And there's no agent who would need to be involved in that.
No.
It doesn't benefit anybody.
Unless the Jets looking, I'll just try this on. I don't think I'm going to like it when it finishes coming out of my mouth. Maybe the Jets are looking for validation. We're like, well, look, we were willing to trade Hellebuck, but we weren't going to just give him away. We wanted Zach Benson, and they said no. Well, what can you do? Connor Hellebuck's the best goalie in the world.
Okay.
Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe that's plausible. I don't know.
No, maybe. It's logical enough.
Not sure it absolves them entirely. But.
We asked for Dahlin.
Right.
So we're not going to give this player away. We wanted to get Rasmus Dahlin, but they wouldn't do it. I don't know. Ultimately, it's all subjective in what you think. I mean, Benson isn't Dahlin. So he's not Quinn either. Quinn isn't Benson.
Right.
So it's all subjective. Like you could disagree with that. Someone else could disagree with that. And very possibly the two teams would see it so differently that what's wrong with that? Who's Zach Benson? How many points? What is it? I can't ask about a guy that had 40 points. What was it actually? I want to be right.
It was, hang on. I'm not in the
I'm on the 19 Sabres.
43 points.
43. I can't really?
13 and 30.
Does that offend you if I ask for a player with 43 points?
65 games. I mean, so he missed some time.
You know,
Ostlund played 60 games for this team.
Well, you better put him in over there.
I watched every one of these games. And I think I've been mistakenly I knew he wasn't as few as Hellenius. Well, that's 9 games.
Hellenius went down.
Yeah. But I didn't know it was 60 for Ostlund.
Does that start at the winning streak, kind of? Or was he
was here before that because as the winning streak was beginning, Lindy was mad that they had to send him down.
Yeah.
That was in Seattle. That was, and I don't know. Cause
he came off like he was mad at management.
Yeah, and that's where Kuntar went and played his one game, and I don't even understand why, if they needed to move Ostlund out, why they had room for whatever. I don't remember all the machinations, but I know that Lindy was hot when they were out west, and I think it was even Seattle specifically about Ostlund having to go down. He's like, he's done everything I've asked him to do.
Yeah, right.
I thought it was about the 3 goalies. at the time. Like, I'm carrying 3
Yes.
goalies, so I'm hamstrung with 3 goalies, and I got to send this guy down because he can go down and maybe nobody else can, and he's one of our best guys, and, like, what are we doing over here?
Yes.
Yeah.
This is not helping me.
Yeah.
Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here at 8:03:0550. Senegal 2, Belgium nothing. 83rd minute. Winner gets the winner of tonight's Team USA Bosnia and Herzegovina game. That's at 8 from the Bay Area. Back after this break. This is WGR. Belgium have scored twice since we last spoke. 2-2 with Senegal late. All right.
Sorry, I think their coach just got a yellow card.
I love that.
A little egregious
Coaches should
celebrating
stop it.
there. Too much celebrating by the coach. I don't know what happened there, but yeah, he got a card.
Germany, Paraguay, that game, referee could not stop throwing yellow cards around to the benches. Assistants were getting yellows, backups. Everybody got one. Oprah. Everybody got a yellow card in that game. Cubs got by today over the Padres 23-3. I'm just going to basically do it and make fun of it. Somewhere, some sports announcers like, oh, it was the Bears and the Chargers.
Mm-hmm. I'm guessing an outfielder pitched some.
I wonder.
Right.
3 more homers and 8 more RBIs for Cubs shortstop Dansby Swanson, who is on a big-time heater for the Cubs. For all you Cub fans, the Cubs were my grandmother's team.
Oh, yeah?
Huge baseball fan, grew up in Kentucky, and this is my late grandfather's wife. He had the brother who pitched in the majors for St. Louis for parts of 8 years. Big baseball family. Mm-hmm. And she loved the Cubs. Even though she was in Reds country, she loved the Cubs. She called them the Cubbies.
Oh, how
the
nice.
Cubbies. So she would have been happy today. 23-3. What a score. Yankees lost again. 7 straight. They tied the Tigers in the 9th and then lost in the 11th.
23-3 that's a getaway day score.
Maybe.
If there ever was one.
Maybe.
Holy cow.
Let's just leave.
Right?
Back to some hockey talk after the update. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog, WGR. Couple of perhaps familiar names on that list of additions from the Sabres today. Well, Connor Sherry was on the team 6 years ago and has been a veteran. He's been in the NHL for a long time. Dennis Gilbert, St. Joe's, played briefly for the Sabres 2 seasons ago, was last with Ottawa, and he returns. Maybe that's Rochester, but always maybe a call-up option for them, defenseman.
Yep.
And Trevor Kuntar he was in Rochester this last season. His father, we both know, Les, who played in the NHL briefly for Montreal, goalie. And Les is they both are, right? I mean, from the area.
Yeah, they're local. Yeah.
Les was born in the Buffalo area and went to Nichols.
Right. Yeah.
And his son went to BC eventually.
Yep.
You know them better than I do.
USHL in Youngstown. Junior Sabres from, 15U up to 18U. Junior hockey in Youngstown in the USHL, and then Boston College. And then the Bruins, I think, 3rd or 4th round pick. And that ran its course playing in the minors. And last year was his first year in Rochester. And he had a great year. He had, as I understand it, I should look before I say it, but I don't feel like he scored over 20 goals in Rochester. And he did not produce offensively like that when he was in Providence in the Bruins system. So kind of a breakthrough year for him. So good, I'm happy for him and the family. Les was invaluable to me when Owen was. He was a goalie, no less. Les was. So and the ties to Nichols, he helped all of that along. It was a good year for me the whole time Owen was playing the game. So happy for their family.
Les played in Rochester too.
And a little bit. He was in the NHL with Montreal for a
6
minute.
games.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Name Rochester Amherst goalies. Les Kuntar.
David Leggio.
David Littman.
Nathan Lewin.
Darcy Wakaluk. I'm looking for extra points by also naming yours. I'm saying yours back and then saying my own. Kevin Weeks.
Rochester, really?
Only for a minute. This is when I was there, I think. They played in a tournament called the Spengler Cup in maybe Switzerland.
Okay.
And he was not in the Sabres organization, but for whatever reason, he was loaned to the Amerks, and he played that tournament for them. And I don't think he ever played a game in the AHL for them, but he played that tournament for them. Olaf Kolzig played for Rochester in the 90s too. And
was that when they had maybe 2 shared affiliation or something? There was
Buffalo and Washington?
Yeah, I don't know if they had they did with Florida for a while, I think, when they were in Portland, so scratch that. Where they shared the affiliate, that's all I'm saying.
He might have been loaned. He was never a Sabre.
Yeah, right. Ryan Miller, Rochester goalie. Martin Baran, Mika Norinen.
Okay, well.
I'm on a tear now. Devin Levi.
Devin Levi. Late of the Sabres organization. Yeah. Well, how about that? Nothing in the present surprising that Levi was traded, but we hardly ever got to see him. It didn't happen.
It was a bold, misguided, optimistic idea. It was what he was. They felt like they needed a jolt there that year. They were in a stretch run where they ended up just missing, right? That's the year he shows up and plays 7 games at the end.
I guess, yeah.
It was good. I think they lost with him. I think they lost. There was a game in Florida. They lost 2-1. That is literally the difference between Florida getting the 8th seed and the Sabres being out.
Alex Lyon?
Yeah.
Florida?
That was Lyon then. That was his run. He started the playoffs that year for them. So, yeah, and then that was it. It never took hold. They wanted to basically give him the job the following fall, and that didn't work out. And he's been a minor league goalie almost ever since. So, good luck to him. I think there is a very talented goalie in there. I respect Paul. We'll have a conversation we had with Paul already today for you in a little bit. He said the number of NHL scouts have told him they don't think his game is going to ever translate to the NHL. It's too there's not enough form. It's too kind of erratic, I guess. Those aren't Paul's words, but it's my interpretation of what the scouts told him, that there's a little too much, high wire act stuff, which is a way that you can really get exposed in the NHL. So we'll see, man. I think he'll get a shot out there. I think we'll see what else Edmonton ends up doing with goaltender. I haven't looked to see what Jari's contract status is, but I mean he couldn't even get the crease back from Connor Ingram in the playoffs. So I doubt that that's any kind of. He's definitely not entrenched. If he's under contract and it's a big contract, I think he is. I think he signed a $6 million a year contract in Pittsburgh. Jari did. Anyway, so he'll get a look still, but I think they'll give Levi an opportunity there. They're dying for somebody to just show up out there. And, as much as we've gotten lost in the weeds here with the Hellebuck rumors and, thinking about what that would be like and feel like and what the results would be, there's a lot of, in the league right now, throw a dart, maybe you'll get a guy. The Brandon Bussey is the guy that is in net when Carolina wins the Stanley Cup. He's Levi, only like 3 or 4 years older.
It was a shutout, too.
Yeah, right. Just never got a shot. I don't know what kind of prospect he was or anything, but he's not a name that anybody was expecting to hear anything from this year. And they won the cup with him. Aiden Hill was Vegas's number one goalie when they won the cup a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
So
Lyon is a version of this.
Sure. There's a lot of, you don't have to have, and really it's maybe since Bobrovsky's a monster stud, and he won the last two before this one, right? And Vasilevsky's also that. So you've got 4 cups there between those two guys alone that are $10 million type goalies, like big stud, famous goalies. But the other plan can work too. So I think Edmonton, it's one thing to say, go get a guy, but the pool is not deep. And if you can't afford Hellebuck right now, or he doesn't want you for whatever reason or anything, then, you got to settle for just trying a different guy, which of course is what they did when they traded they traded Skinner for Jari. All right, you guys are both kind of mid, and maybe this will work. And it didn't really work out in either case. Skinner, I think, at least had the net for Pittsburgh in the playoffs, but still, they didn't get what they were looking for, either team, really.
We have extra time here at the World Cup. Belgium and Senegal. Who are you for?
These are both teams I have in the pool. Obviously, only one of them can move on. I feel like Belgium would be a better bet to keep going to be a not a contender. They're less of a long shot than Senegal to win.
I think so. I think that's right.
I think
USA next if USA wins.
So I guess I should root for Belgium, unless I don't know. Do I want the easier path for the US? I'm not going to win the pool. I'm not going to win the pool.
No.
Regardless, I don't think I have enough. I don't have enough teams live.
Yeah.
To win the pool. So
I told you this earlier. I'm lower on the list too. The problem is every team left is owned. We picked every team in the tournament.
Right.
4 times 12. So you don't get away with anything. Somebody's getting 3 points every time.
Right.
So you need everything.
And when the day began, I had 3 teams. One of them was DR Congo. They got knocked out by England. They were game. I mean, that could have gotten even at least to where this game is.
That was so good.
But it didn't. And so, I lost a team there, and I'm going to lose another team here, and I'm cooked. So I guess go Senegal then. If I think that they're the less challenging side for the U.S., then I guess I will pull for them.
I think that's got to be right. I don't know world rankings, but I think that's got to be right. England had never won a World Cup game before today when trailing at halftime.
Wow.
That's an old country.
That's like the definition of an old country.
England.
It is the old country.
They're older than us. The World Cup is younger, but yes, England had never before today won a World Cup game when trailing at halftime. I'm excited about tonight. I'm in. Totally bandwagon. USA. I live here. I'm with it.
Oh,
The announcers are great. The scenes are great.
There is no question. I will watch every minute of that tonight.
Mm-hmm.
8:00 start time totally works.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm totally here for that.
And again, the winner of that and the winner of this play, that'll be in Seattle early next week. I should get you that. I should do better than early next week. It's not something that's that hard to find out. July 10th at 3. So next Friday at 3 is the no. Sorry, that's 2 games away. July 6th at 8.
Okay, that's Monday.
That's Monday.
All right.
And then the next game, if they were to win, would be 3 o'clock in Los Angeles on July 10th. Friday afternoon.
That'll be fun. Happy hour, everybody.
It's fun. It's just not convenient.
Yeah.
We're still playing day games in the quarterfinals. I guess that probably has to happen.
I kind of love that about this tournament, even though it does prohibit people from. I just love that there's games. I can't
all the time.
I love that there's games all the time. So I can't be the guy that says I want America to play at 8:00. Like whatever, you know. Put the game on. It's on. It's good.
Yes. Not enough mornings. But I might have made a noise when I saw today's schedule and that England was noon.
Yeah. Right.
Perfect.
Yep.
Watch the whole thing before work.
Same here.
Right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So that was pretty good. England advances. England-Mexico on the 5th. So carry the one. That'll be Sunday night in Mexico. That's incredible. The 4th, we have 2 games. Canada-Morocco on the 4th at 1 o'clock. So that's Saturday, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Followed by Paraguay and France from Philadelphia at 5.
How much of the stadium in, I believe it's Monterey, have you seen?
It looks incredible. The
Oh,
mountains.
my God.
Everybody seems to love it.
I can't. That is the kind of thing that my wife will watch the entire game because of.
Mm-hmm.
Just for the shots coming back from the hydration breaks. And you've got, like, it looks like something you would build on a table in your attic for model trains. Like the houses even go like to the edge of the mountain, and then the mountain is there in the stadium, and it just looks, it's breathtaking.
Yes.
It is breathtaking.
The announcers in one game I was watching, I think were talking about how they had never been there and were just blown away.
Yeah, I'll bet.
You know, soccer gives you that as a broadcaster.
Yes.
There are gaps.
Yeah, right.
You can talk about the scenery.
Right.
There's time to do that.
And even this stadium, I heard the panel last night, you know, Zlatan and Lawless and Henry talking about that stadium, Azteca in Mexico City. And it was Lawless, and he's not my cup of tea really, but like the way he talked about, you get in there and the way the stadium, you can't see the sky, like it just you are in the theater.
You're
like
trapped.
You are just like good luck to you, visiting team
Right.
kind of vibe. And I totally feel that.
Notorious for
It's
that.
an incredible looking venue.
Mexico City, that stadium notoriously impossible for visiting teams.
Yeah.
That's where now we're going to get England in
Yeah,
there
yeah.
against Mexico, which should be really incredible. And then you have games tomorrow. We have Spain, Austria. We have Portugal, Croatia, and then we have an 11 o'clocker tomorrow night.
Oof.
Switzerland, Algeria from Vancouver.
Neither of them
You might
are-
take that one off. You sound by that noise.
Neither of them are winning anything. I don't need to see that.
Algeria with the draw of the tournament.
Right.
that goal that they
Austria
gave up.
Right.
To Austria in the last minute there. So it's mostly been a hockey day. We'll see what tomorrow brings. I mean, it's going to dry up. We just kind of hope for most fans' sake and the Sabres that it hasn't already just completely dried up. But Paul Hamilton was on with us earlier, sensing that this was going to be the day that we got. So we'll get you his thoughts on what the Sabres did and didn't do. Still, of course, it's allowed. You can make moves, trades and such, but wasn't much of a day on that front. And then also coming up, Jarmo Kekalainen's comments on what today was like. So that's all ahead. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here. This is WGR.